let's talk about APIs. What's going on, everybody? How we doing? Thank you so much for being here. Oh, wow. Whoa. There's so much going on. Whoa. It's so Desirous. Thank you so much for the 5 gifted subs. We got so much going on. Are you streaming today? I hope your stream went well. If you're streaming later today, hope it goes well. We got to post your link in chat so folks can go give you a follow. Welcome, everybody. Hope you all are having a great day. There's a lot of stuff that was happening. I was grooving out. So I missed a few things here. Let me get through this real quick. The Bolical with the raid. What's going on? Hope your stream went well. We gotta. I've been working on it, but we'll make it go live soon. A channel where you can let folks know that you're going live and other 100 devs folks. Now that we're a partner, we can create the 100 devs streaming group, which can have all of us in it that stream, and so we can know when everyone goes live. So that's another dope perk that I didn't know about. Alyssa with the flex, 6 months, just a little flex, no biggie. Hey, thank you for the 6 months, and thank you for everything you do. Bam CCC with the 2 months of Prime, thank you so much. Dinger Code with the 2 months. David with the 4 months, thank you so much. Sheenan with the 100 bits. Izzy, go Bob, it's your birthday. Thank you for the 6 months, Izzy. That's huge. Thank you for the 6 months. Oh, let's go to the main chat. I don't know why I'm in the code. Thank you so much for the 6 months. That's wild. Blah, thank you for the 5 months as well. The D4NE, thank you for the 3 months. Rezo, thank you for the gifted sub. Angel, thank you for the 4 months. Tiny Torches with the 3 months in a row, spamming the new emotes. Let's go. Jen, thank you for the gifted subs. Wow, thank you so much for the 5 gifted subs. That's huge. Thank you so much. Oh, Rossi, thank you for the 100 bits. I'm trying to just get there. We got a hype train before I even turn on my camera. It's wild. You know what? I'm sure I'm not saying this right. I love you. I love your stream so much. The things you're doing on Twitch are great. And I can never say it. And Celadsaurus, thank you so much for the 5 gifted subs. Dinger Code, thank you for the 100 bits. I'm just gonna call you Tuccini. I know we always mess that one up too. 4 months in a row, thank you so much. Boom Kingston, thank you for the 4 months. Hey Reggie, thank you for the 100 bits. Emma B, thank you for the 3 months. Booty Liquor, thank you for the 2 months. Forget about it, thank you for the 3 months. Wolfpack, thank you for the 4 months. Cookie Codes with the 2 months in a row and all the spam of the new emotes. The Art of Missy, thank you for the 2 months in a row. Whew. We got through it, folks. We got through it. I got a sweater on. This isn't gonna work. This sweater is not gonna work. It's gonna get too hot. Whew. It's getting too hot. It's giving that OnlyFans preview. Gonna throw it on the ground here. What up, everybody? Welcome to tonight. Happy Tuesday, a perfect day. Hey, thank you for the 5 gifted subs. If you didn't know, we're celebrating, folks. It came through over the weekend, but we made partner. We got those sweet quality settings. Those sweet quality settings. So that's the huge win, right? The huge win was that now all the members in our community, right? Now all the members in our community can actually view the stream in the quality that they choose. Folks that were kind of stuck just on YouTube and not being able to follow live, they can follow live now. That is huge. So thank you for all the work we've been putting in. Everyone showing up for the extra classes. I appreciate you so much. Whew. Dinger Code, hey, thank you for the 5 gifted subs. That's wild. Thank you so much. Adil, hey, thank you for the 4 months of Prime. But we got those quality settings. We made partner. We gotta. That's over. Hey. Bro, Congratulations. Whew. Thank you everyone for being here. I hope you're ready for another great Tuesday class. We got a lot of fun stuff tonight. We're building some wonderful things with 2 new APIs. We're going to be using a Dungeons and Dragons API to get some data back and really spend some time parsing through data, getting the things that we want. Then we're going to look at an open books API. We're going to use local storage to build a book tracker. So as we read our different books, as you read all the books that you're going to need to read to get through the rest of the program, you might as well keep track of them. So that's what we're building tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and clean something up over here real quick. Boom. We are live. The question of the day was, what should our next emote be? Thank you so much to Will, right? Thank you so much to Will for putting these emotes together. They're working hard on some other ones. What should our next emote be? What do you think? What should we have? What should we have? I'm gonna close this out. A Simba emote. I think that's a good one. Oh, let's put a little music in the background as we kind of look at these emotes. Just light though, just real light. Angry Leon. Ooh, binary upload boom as like 3 individual ones. That'd be wild. I really like that. Simba seems the overwhelming favorite. Leon, want to go over how difficult or not difficult it was for you to obtain partner? Sure. We can talk about that for sure. This is wholesome. Yeah, let's go. Simba, binary upload boom. That's a good one. We got Bob. We got the nuns. What else? Spicy Dorito Leon. Pokemon card. More Bob. Party Leon. I don't know what the Party Leon would look like. Maybe we can get some clips going. Maybe one with like the hair flowing. Bill Gates toaster. I love it. Bill Gates toaster. That's probably that's my favorite. Super Saiyan Simba or Super Saiyan Bob could be funny too. The Bachelor, get a Final Rose one. Yeah, letters are banned. You can't do individual letters for emotes, unfortunately. Jeff Goldblum. Leon's hair. All right. Dominoes. A clever way to get a Dominoes emote in there. the leprechaun. You see leprechaun say, yeah. Electro Jesus. Hey, thank you for the 4 months. Dance party for sure. All right. Green bathtub guy. Oh, there's so many good ones. Oh, 21, 21, 20. Can we do numbers? I know you can't do letters, but can you do numbers? That'd be cool. Reptar, you're really in on this spicy Dorito, Leon. The lemon Shrek. Oh, that would be so wild. Second sponsor is who? Oh, I'm not announcing it yet. It's a good. Oh, it's good. It's good. I'll announce it right now. Microsoft coming back. Microsoft's coming back. They love the stream. They love the engagement that y'all brought to the material, to the engagement on Twitter, the newsletter, exclamation point newsletter. Our open rates, our retweets, our likes were through the roof. The number of folks that did the homework and went through the free course was super high, like really high. And so we blew that one way out of the water. Yeah, it's the Azure folks. Yep. Yeah, that's them. Yeah, they sponsored one stream already, and we're getting ready to do another one. We're going to be doing identity. So when it comes time for us to get into our back end and we need folks to authenticate, there are a couple different ways that you can authenticate users. And so Microsoft is going to be sponsoring that class specifically. So it's going to be fun. Oh, they're gonna bring a lot more. It's wild. I'm not gonna announce everything right now, but it's way bigger than the first one we did. It's gonna be way, way bigger than the first one. Like, way, like, like 10x. It's so much. It's wild. I don't want to spill it all right now, but it's gonna be big. I'll trade in one swag bag for one job, please. Yeah, so it's gonna be big. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm gonna put a lot of hard work into it, but yeah, they were super excited. Toko with the hydration. Cheers to you. Hey. Thank you so much. Thank you for the hydration. Whew. We hit a level 5 hype train before I even turned the camera on. That is wild. A total of 45 gifted subs. Thank you so much, everybody. I really appreciate that. For those that are new, all the subs, the bits, everything that gets donated to the nonprofit I work at during the day. And whew, it's been healthy. And so I really appreciate everyone and all the support. It means a lot. Alrighty, folks. We got a lot of fun stuff to get into tonight. A lot of building tonight. Lots of fingers on keyboard, doing some real stuff. Lots of things to talk about first, though, before we get into the fun code. Okay, so let's go ahead. I'm gonna pull up the slides. If you need the slides, it's !slides here in chat. That'll give you the slides that we're gonna use for today. Those slides automatically progress. So if you don't like me controlling the slides for you, you can remove that slides, like the live link, right? You can remove that live link, and when you remove that live link, then you have full control over the slides. If you want the materials that we're going to use, all the starter code, that's !Discord. And what that will do is that will bring you to our Discord community. Once you agree to the rules, there is a follow along materials channel that you'll see. You have to agree to the rules first. Once you see that channel, you can download the zip file for today. It's going to have all the starter code that we'll be using. Cool. Would I be able to join in for the backend section, or is the course designed for folks to do it from the start? You definitely could join in for the backend. We're going to talk a little bit about kind of like some catch-up work over the next week or so, but I'm trying to design the backend piece for folks that may not have been here for the first like third. So our program is broken up into thirds. This second third is going to be the backend portion. And if you just do a little bit of review on JavaScript and JavaScript objects, you'll be totally fine for the backend. And so that'll be kind of the thing that we'll be recommending. So we'll have a lot of folks that have been reaching out saying, hey, I'm really interested in this backend piece. Can I join for just that? Totally fine. If you want to, you can always do !100 devs. That'll give you access to everything about the program, but also walk you through how to join. And if you wanted to catch up a little bit, how to catch up. Yeah. Pi, we're moving into the second third here. We're moving into the second third. The objects were kind of the jump into the second third, where we need to know a little bit more about objects, that the back end makes sense, so that like the nitty gritty of like how JavaScript really works makes sense, because everything's objects, right? So we're gonna get into it. Cool. All right. Yeah, I think so, Avatar. I think we'll do another one on that. There's a lot of stuff to do to get folks that are needing this, right? We know that there's a lot of folks that are still hurting, a lot of folks that are still looking for a new career. The pandemic for them is not ending anytime soon, and so there have been a lot of folks that have been reaching out specifically about the back end, and so we're gonna try and push it, see if we can help some more folks learn the code and invite them into this amazing community that we've been building, this amazing partnered community that we've been building. Let's go. Thank you, Alyssa. Hey, Jersey Boss Baby, thank you for the gifted sub. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. All right. So I have 32,000 channel points just sitting here waiting to be YOLO'd. Maybe we'll get to some YOLOs tonight. I don't know. We'll see if there's one that makes sense. So tonight we have a lot of stuff to get into, so I want to jump into it. I'm just going to jump right into the slides. I want to make sure that we have enough time to get through all the stuff we want to get through tonight. A lot of little things to talk about before we actually get into right into some code. So let's go ahead and get through it. All right. So we're going to do more API review tonight. And so that'll be the meat and potatoes. I gotta turn off Bob's blindingly flashing lights. Hold on, just real quick, just a little taste. You can see the lights. No, turn off. Oh my gosh. Cause I gotta like look that way. It's so hard to turn off. There we go. Woo. And it's so bright. Like, it's just like blinding when you look at it. I really like this new intro music. This is how we introduce every class going forward. It's just like a dance session. That'd be hilarious. Bob frightens me so much. All right, let's talk through these slides. Hey, Ryan, thank you for the 2 mouse. Is there any way to access previous office hours recordings? I'm a late joiner. So there are still office hours recordings here on VODs on Twitch. And unfortunately, the older ones, they're not on YouTube. The ones going forward that we've done starting like a week or 2 ago will all be on YouTube. But the old ones, well, those were for the triple OGs. Cool. All right, we're going to do a quick review. But before we get into all that, we already got through some questions. We already got through some questions today. So let's go ahead. Hey, Mastermind, thank you for the congrats. And no, congrats to you too, right? I saw you too. This is wild. We're doing big things in tech. There we go. I love it. Congrats on your partnership as well. That's wild. Alrighty. Are we going back to daily codes or nah? Yes, we are going to go back to daily codes. I figured out a better way to make it work, especially now that we're using Git and GitHub. So they're coming back. Don't worry, they're coming back. All right. Channel points for 2-minute rave sesh. That's actually a pretty good one. That's happening. That is happening. Code Wars is killing me. It always that when you first start out with Code Wars, it's hard, it's tricky, it's they're not easy. It's a lot of new patterns, and if you haven't seen those patterns before, there's no way that you can get right into the thick of them. And so it's about building up. If you are doing Code Wars, make sure that you are in the level 8 fundamentals track to be starting. Lala, hey, thank you for the 5 gifted subs. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. That's cool. Thank you so much. Code Wars is definitely an uphill battle 90% of the time. Yeah, it is. It is. Yep. Cool. There you go. Alrighty. It's going to get funky. So there's a lot of things that we're testing over the next couple of weeks on Discord, here on stream. And so bear with us as we test a lot of these things. But yeah, it's going to get a little funky. Still got some little glitches with the camera, things like that. It's going to get funky. We're making a lot of little changes, but hopefully for the better. And so bear with us as we kind of make a lot of changes here on Twitch and then on Discord as well. Alrighty. Huge reminder. You are not alone. If you're struggling with the Code Wars, if you're struggling with any of the past material, if APIs are not making sense, you are not alone. The number of folks that reach out, that are struggling, that are a little behind is very high. You're not the only person that's going through that experience. Now, not going to be the same experience, but the struggling with the work, for things not clicking, things not making sense, that is normal. These are all new things that you're pushing yourself to learn. These are patterns that you don't see in normal life, and it's about getting your repetition in. It's about sticking to your active recall, sticking to your space repetition in Anki, and give yourself that room and that flexibility for things to eventually click. Okay? It's going to keep growing. It's going to keep growing. And as we keep pushing, as you keep investing, as you keep up the hard work, you'll get there. Okay. We have the Struggle Bus channel if you feel the need to share that struggle, but also just to see other folks that are in the thick of it and know that you're not alone. Please, 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 please ask for help. We've had so many mentors reach out recently about how they can start helping more on Discord. And so that's going to be a big thing when we come back. So in the next couple of weeks, you're going to see more mentors helping with code. We're going to be having more as you're submitting your code onto GitHub. You're going to be getting feedback on your code, and so there's a lot of these things that are going to be happening to help and support you. We got Debacle posting their schedule here that they're going through code reviews on their channel. So this community is here to support you. You're not alone. We're going to get through it together, and we're going to give you some breathing room if you feel like you're a little bit behind. Okay. Yeah, Debacle, we'll get you a channel so you can let folks know when you're going live too. Cool. All right, let's keep pushing, folks. Remember, health first. If there's ever a time that you need more time, if you ever need an accommodation, just reach out. Just let me know. My DMs are slammed right now. I'm looking forward to having some time later this week to get through all of them. But just let me know. If it's something urgent, you can always use the mod mail to let us know. And Ask Leon is always there too. I see the Ask Leon in the mod mails pretty quickly. DMs I eventually get to, but they get slammed every once in a while. Cool. Oh, thank you. That'd be great. I'll reach out to you on DM for helping to mentor. I appreciate that. Alrighty. Cool. Let's keep a moving here. Remember, no networking until March. So this entire month, you're not networking. You don't have to network. Leon, I forgot to turn in NASA. Is it too late? No, go for it. All right. Remember, client deadlines got pushed to March as well. So you don't have to worry about the client right now. Remember, there's also client alternatives. So if you come from an area where it's hard to get a client, or for some reason you're not able to go after a client because maybe visa status or things like that, there are alternatives. You can volunteer for a grassroots organization, or you can commit to free software or open source, right? Remember, there's this link here, first timers only. That link is a great link to find repositories that are open, projects that are open and looking for first time committers, like folks that are brand new to free software. They will point you in the right direction. So check that out. Cool. Remember, there's some channel points updates. There has been some new things added to the channel points. The biggest, well, my favorite one, not maybe the biggest one, but my favorite one is exclamation point Pokemon. If you redeem the Pokemon card channel point redemption, we randomly pick a Pokemon card from that list, and that gets mailed to you directly. So I just bought a bunch of these like really nice cardboard mailing packages and a whole litany of stamps. And so the first round of Pokemon cards are going out hopefully this Friday will be the first batch going out, and then any other ones as they come in, I'll put them in the mail as well. Cool. We got some new emotes. If you have emotes, remember when you're sub or you get a gifted sub, you get the emotes, but you also can unlock them using your channel points. So you don't have to sub to get access to the emotes. You can use your channel points as well. Thank you, Will, so much for both of the new emotes and the ones that you're working on. Can we just get a wall of Bob, please? Just a wall of Bob. Can we just get a little Bob? Thank you all. Wolfgang, hey, thank you for the 5 months. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. So we got the new Bob emote, and we also got our lovely nuns emote. For those that are out of the loop, or maybe that you're or maybe you're new, the nuns comes from one of the very, very original streams. Sarah, hey, thank you for the 4 months. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. The nuns come from one of the original streams where I mentioned and apologized for my horrific handwriting and my horrific drawing skills, because my mom was the queen of finding free stuff to do, and every Saturday for years would drop me off to the nuns, where they would teach me how to draw. And I have failed the nuns, and I have failed the nuns, and my drawing skills have not progressed. And so now we have the nuns emote to shame me whenever my drawing is poor after years and years of hard work. The stream needs to come with a headphone warning. I've still been listening back to it. I have to listen back to find like all the peaking and how loud everything is. But that's part of it's being funky. I've been adding a lot of stuff, and I gotta keep watching it back to let me know if things are too wild. But if things are too loud or too weird and it gets a little too funky, let me know so I can fix it for sure. Thank you, Emma. The raves are pretty loud, but I funk with it. Yeah, let's go. All right. We have our Code Wars clan. If you have not joined the clan yet, please go ahead and do so. It is 100devs, leonnoel.com/Twitch. You type that full thing. You go to your profile, and in your profile, you put that in your profile for the clan, and that adds you to the 100 devs clan. And so when you get added to 100 devs clan, all the every time you solve a coding challenge, you get some more of the, I think they call it honor. And the more honor you are, the higher up the leaderboard you go. Now, the top person on the leaderboard each month will get VIP. VIP is exclusive on this channel. It is the only way, other than being mod, to post links. And so for the top person, every 2 weeks, they get mod. They don't get mod, they get VIP. Whew. They get VIP, which gives you the ability, all of the things that a subscriber gets, plus links. All right. Oh, no, Reggie, you you subscribe, check on Simba, but it's not a Simba cam today. It is a... Sorry, cover your ears, folks. Party Bob cam. Turn it down. Hey. Just checked on Bob. Bob is doing good. Look at Bob. Bob put a hat on today. I was like, it's a little chilly. Put a hat on. That's right. There we go. Cool. Thank you for redeeming the check on Simba, but it's a Bob cam today. Simba did not want to stay in the room today. He wanted to be with my wife, Angie. So I'm developing a Twitch from the music. All right. Then anyone in the top 5, if you are in good standing, you will move from House Hamilton to House Hopper. So if you are in House Hamilton, you're in good standing, and you make it into the top 5, you will automatically be moved to Hopper. And so that's one of the pathways from Hamilton to Hopper. And you'll still have your access to Hamilton, so you can be in the channel with all the folks that you've met and grown with there. But you'll also get added to the Hopper as well. Angie Cam Cat. Oh, sorry. Thank you, Alyssa. There you go. So That's what I did. So last Friday, what I did is I took a full page screenshot of the clan, and what I'll do is every 2 weeks, so every second Friday, so not this Friday but the next, I'll look at the number one person. They'll get VIP, but then the person that had the most movement, the person that went from the farthest down to the highest up, they will also get VIP. And any folks that are in the top 5, they will automatically move from Hamilton to Hopper. How do we see the whole clan? You can go ahead and look at the social. And when you go to social, it'll show you everyone in your clan. Yeah. And then we also have exclamation point clan will tell you the name of the clan, but we also have, I believe it's exclamation point code wars that our mod Bilal wrote a nice post on how to set everything up. So if you need to, go ahead and read that as well. Alrighty. So make sure you go ahead and join the clan. That way we can grow together through our code wars and get some fun perks. And we're going to add more perks to it as we go on. Like I'll give out more prizes and fun stuff. So make sure you're putting it in there so that as you're doing your code wars, we can have other fun stuff with it going on. Cool. We have no class on Thursday. So this Thursday, we will not have any class because I'm picking up my new pupper. So on Thursday, I get to go pick up this lovely doggo here. And yeah, so we just got literally a couple, I don't know, maybe like an hour or two ago, we got final approval. Everything went well. And so we're going and picking her up on Thursday. So no class on Thursday because we got to go pick her up. So her name is Dorothea, but she has no responsivity to that name. Like that, like they gave it to her while she was there at the shelter and then with the foster. But she doesn't really respond to it that much. And so we're thinking we'll play it by ear for like the first week. And so if she is responding to it all during the first week, then we'll keep it. But if she's still not responding to it, we're going to rename, and the name will be The Machine. So we'll have Simba and The Machine. She's so tiny. She's so tiny. She's like a really tiny pit bull. Yeah. What's the Alyssa tax? Alyssa said we would throw hands if I didn't show a picture of the dog. So I called this the Alyssa tax. Yeah. So La Máquina or The Machine. I've always wanted to call a dog The Machine. And so she's the tiniest, cutest little pit bull. And so she's going to be called The Machine. If she likes the name, if she responds well to it. She might not. We might have to go with a different one. So she's 5. She's 5. Yeah. We don't really know too much about her other than kind of like guesses. But yeah, so she was on, in LA, we have like a high kill list. And so she was on that list. And so that's why on Saturday we had to end things a little early because we kind of like ran to go there. Name her Orgle Pork. Orgle Pork. Maybe. Yeah, so that's why we had to end early on Saturday because we ran to go meet her and see if her and Simba got along. They got along really well. And so, yeah, we went through the rest of the process. And so on Thursday, we're going to go get her. So super excited. Channel points to name the pup. I thought about it. It has crossed my brain. It has crossed my brain for it to be a channel point redemption. But I don't know. We'll see. She has to respond well to it, right? So it has to be what she likes. And so we're going to try some and see what she responds to the most. Cool. We have class on Friday. So remember 2 Fridays ago, we did our live portfolio and resume review, and we have the next iteration of that class. So on Friday, we're going to do our resume class where I'm going to give you a template for your resume. That'll be a great starter point. It'll have some things already filled in for you so that it's a little bit easier for you to get started. It'll have some verbiage about how you can talk about 100 devs and a lot of other fun stuff. So come back on Friday for that class. Subtoast A, thank you for the foremost. Thank you so much for being here. And so the idea is that you'll come back on Friday for that resume class, and I'll give out a template during that class that you can use. And a lot of what we'll be working over on the next couple of weeks are kind of your kind of professional persona and professional, everything you need for kind of start applying for jobs and things like that, getting that stuff to start marinating. So on Friday, we're going to cover it. How long will the Friday class be this week? Probably around the same amount of time, hour and a half, just to see how it goes. If folks like it, then we'll keep it up. But yeah, it's about hour and a half. And then Saturday, Git Bowl. So Saturday is going to be a whole class. It's going to be office hours. So we're going to do like a short office hours, maybe like half an hour of questions. And then the rest of Saturday is all Git and GitHub and other wonderful stuff. So if you've been having trouble kind of submitting homework, if you've been having trouble organizing your projects, Saturday is for you. We're going to walk through getting it installed on different operating systems. We're going to go through and look at some more advanced commands, more advanced things that you can do, getting us really prepared to start working in teams. Okay. So we're going to start working in teams very soon, and having a grasp on Git and GitHub is going to be really important and critical for that. Yeah. I'm having trouble doing nonstop code wars. Brian, they'll be assigned, and then there'll be some that you can pick as well. So, yeah. No, Missy, no. The teams are supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be learning together. If you feel like things are really clicking for you, some of the best things you can ever do is teach others. And if things aren't clicking for you, one of the best things you can ever do is to get perspective from somebody else. And so the teams are going to be fun. It'll be mixing of skill levels. It'll be mixing of things that you're good at and not good at. And it'll be getting you ready to work with real developers. With like real developers on a team, I should say. Sorry. You're all real developers. You're all software engineers. But working with kind of like a real team is what I meant to say. Yeah. Cool. So, no class Thursday. Class Friday. Class Saturday. No class next week. So next week we are taking a break. We took a break after our 10th class to give folks a catch up. And now that we're kind of a little bit past class 20, we want to give folks another kind of catch up week. So this is meant to be a break for folks to get some rest, to brush up on the things that they need to brush up on, and to maybe catch up on some of the work that they need to catch up on. Okay. Now you can use this break however you choose. For some folks, this break might be a time to really push themselves. For some folks, this might be a time to really catch up on the things they need to catch up with. And for some folks, it might just be a way to like reinforce the things that they're having trouble with. And so you can take this break however you want to take it, but we won't have actual class. So we won't have physical class on Tuesday or Thursday, and we won't have class that Friday, but we will have like office hours that Saturday. So we will we'll have office hours this Saturday, but not the following. So we're taking that full week off. No like actual class like live here on Twitch. This is a way for you to get a catch up, to get a break, to get some mental rest. A lot of folks have been asking for it. So Subtoast, no, you you just missed it. Simba's not here. We got a Bobcam though. Boom. Hey. Hold on. There we go. You got the bob emotes. You gotta use them. All right. So yeah. So class, no class this Thursday, class Friday, class Saturday, and then no class for a week. We'll have homework. There's things I want you to work on. And we'll also be doing some kind of like the normal like icebreakers that we've done before. So we'll have some icebreaker sessions. If you want to participate in the icebreaker, you can. If you just want to take the week, you can. But I figured it'd be fun to get some icebreaker sessions for the different groups that we added on Discord. And to get some icebreaker just going for the different houses. So we'll do like a day of icebreakers just to like get to meet more folks. We have a lot of new folks that have joined, and so it'd be a fun chance to get to know folks. And so yeah, we're gonna do a couple like bigger like icebreaker sessions just to get to see folks and say hello. But then we'll take that whole week off from class. So office hours are this Saturday. So once again, I'm just gonna say it one more time just because I want to be very clear. No class Thursday, get in the machine. Then class Friday and class Saturday, and then no class for a week. Boom. So I hope if you really need it, that little bit of break, you use it to your advantage, get some rest, get the ability to catch up. And if you don't need the break and you feel like you want to push, I'll have work for you to do as well. So it'll be for whatever you choose to use this break for, but no class. My eyes will finally heal after this week. I hope so. Alrighty. And once again, thank you. We made partner, folks. We made partner. Alyssa said, how long did it take us? We made partner in under 6 months and in under 55 streams. Which is wild. That is bonkers numbers because a lot of folks spend a really long time to get partner, years. And so this was the power of our community. It was the power of all of y'all showing up, right? It's the power of you all being able to kind of push and spread the word to get more folks involved. And so this wasn't magic. This was all y'all's hard work, right? This was y'all showing up and pushing and not letting JavaScript kind of bring you down and continuing to push. And when I needed you to show up more to help those others that are part of our community to get access to these quality settings, you showed up in force. That's probably my favorite like 100 devs moment so far. I said, hey, there are folks in our community that don't have quality settings. I need you to show up on this day so that we can hit partner. And we had the exact same number of folks that we had for our normal class on an extra day. So to me, that was one of the most beautiful things that have happened on stream, one of the most beautiful things that have happened to this community. And I appreciate you all so much. And we literally applied for partner because of that and got it within a week. We got a response back in less than a week, which is also something I hadn't heard of because I was looking at folks waiting 8 weeks, 2 to 3 months to get their response back. And so that's all you. I appreciate every single one of you. And I want to say thank you. So if you're here, I want to send you a thank you card. If you do ! Thank you, that'll bring you to a Google form. If you give me your contact information, I am sending you a handwritten thank you card anywhere in the world. I don't care where you are. I'm going to send it. And so I hope that you want to get that in the mail because I really want to send it. So if you haven't yet, ! Thank you. Hundreds of you have already done it. And so my break is spent writing y'all thank you cards. So I appreciate it. Thank you for always being here. And yeah, I really want to send you a card. Don't matter where you are. It's going to go in the mail. Luck Monkey, whew, thank you for the 6 months. Wow. Thank you so much for being here. Assassin 14, thank you for the 3 months. I appreciate you being here as well. Alrighty, folks. So we got through a lot of the 100 devs housekeeping here. If you haven't joined the clan, join the clan. That way we can do some fun things with those honor points that are coming in. Remember, no class on Thursday, class Friday and Saturday, and then no class for a week so we can take a break. Jen, thank you for the hydration. Cheers to you. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and get into class. We're going to do our speed review. Once we are done our speed review, we will take our break at the top of the hour. When we come back, we're going to be working with two major APIs today. We're working with a Dungeons and Dragons API, and we're going to be working with an open library book API. The goal is to, one, get back some complex data, get some complex JSON back, really feel comfortable parsing through that data and getting it to be utilized by our programs. And then the other is to maybe play around with this local storage idea, get something that has a little bit of persistence going on. And that way we can start building apps that even if we are fresh, we're able to utilize the functionality across browser sessions. So excited to kind of get building all this stuff, and then excited for you all to get some review in over our break. Cool. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. We're going to do a speed review. If you are new here, this is going to go quick and fast, and we have plenty of other classes that go at a much slower speed, so you can pay attention and learn. This is just for us to get our spaced repetition in. You can always do !100 devs and find all about our free 30-week software engineering bootcamp. Cool. Let's jump into it. Programming. What is a program? A program is a set of instructions you write to tell a computer what to do. So if a program is a set of instructions, chat, what is programming? What is programming, chat? If a program is a set of instructions, what is programming? Well, I kind of already have it on the screen there. Yeah, it's the task of writing those instructions in a language that the computer can understand. Nice. We're using JavaScript as our language of choice. It's a language that we can understand as humans that can then be broken down into something that the computer can understand. And we want to review some of the kind of key functionalities of JavaScript. And one of those things are loops. Loops enable you to repeat an action some number of times. There are three main kinds of loops in JavaScript, but there are many others. We have other types of loops that come up when we're using things like arrays or objects. We saw like for each, we saw map, right? And so these are other types of loops, but there are three main ones. And basically each loop just offers a different way to determine when to start and stop the loop. Cool. Here's a very kind of simple for loop here. We kind of set up our counter. We say when the loop ends and how much our counter goes up after each iteration, right? So we're going to console log 1, then we'll run again. We'll console log 2, then 3, then 4, and then we'll add 1 to 4. We'll be at 5, and since 5 is less than 5, this will stop and we'll run again. Cool. What are arrays? Chat, what are arrays, chat? What are arrays? What are arrays? Toasters. I think that's a really good emote idea. Bill Gates toaster. I don't know how we do it. Maybe like a like an emote of Bill and then an emote of toaster. Yeah, we like to think of our arrays as toasters. And by toasters, we mean one object or one thing that's able to store other stuff. So you think about a toaster as one thing, but it can store your Pop-Tarts, your toaster strudels, your bread, right? So one object able to store multiple things inside of it. Now, the tricky thing with our arrays is that we start counting the stuff inside of them. We count kind of each slot via its index, and that index starts at 0. Okay. Arrays also come with a lot of handy dandy methods that make working with arrays a lot easier. Chat, what are methods? What are these methods and how can they help us work with arrays? What are methods? What are methods? Yeah, they're just functions, right? They're just functions that give us a little bit of more flexibility and the ability to do things with our arrays, right? So they're just functions. When we got to objects, we learned that methods were functions tied to objects. So that kind of gives us a hint. Gives us a hint. If arrays have methods, then arrays are what? Arrays are what? Yeah. Exactly. They're objects. Everything in JavaScript is an object, right? So if arrays have methods, that kind of gives us some clues that, wait a minute, I thought objects, well, then must mean that array is an object. Cool. And then arrays also have properties. What properties do arrays have? What property does an array have? Cross, that was clever. Yeah, it has a length property. So we saw early on that there was a length property and these methods built into it. So that should have given us some clue to about how JavaScript is really organized underneath the hood. Cool. We can create arrays using literal notation, which is just the square brackets. We can set up our arrays when we declare them with a bunch of values inside. We can also not only put stuff into an array via its index, but we can get stuff out. So here you can see I'm using the index to get a value out of the array, and I can use the index to put stuff into the array. It works both ways. It's a getter and a setter. Cool. And we have this length property that'll tell us how many things or how many elements are inside of the array. Object. That's hilarious. Alrighty. Whew. Array iteration. We saw that arrays had these special methods on them that enable us to loop through the array. For each is one of those. We're going to see that later today, right? For each is going to run once for each element in the array. So since there are 4 elements in this array, this is going to run 4 times. Cool. What are objects? Chat, what are objects? We were all frisky with the arrays and the methods, but what's an object, chat? What's an object? Everything. Key value pairs, I like that. A data structure, I like that. JavaScript. Fancy data type, okay. Key value pairs. Yeah, I think we're kind of hitting on all the big things here for what an object can be. An object is simply a collection of variables and functions. We call those variables properties and we call those functions methods. It's a data structure. It's technically a keyed collection, right? It's a keyed collection that's made up of these different properties and methods. It's a way of organizing our data when it comes to JavaScript. Cool. Objects are kind of just like the normal objects we could think about. Think about a normal physical object. Think about all of its attributes and all of its behaviors. But instead of calling it an attribute, we call it a property. Instead of calling it a behavior, we call it a method. So I like to think of a stopwatch object. A stopwatch object has properties like the current time, but it also has some methods, right? Like tell time. That tell time method is the behavior of that object. So when you're thinking about JavaScript objects, you can just think about real objects, same thing. Cool. Let's quickly review what an API is, and then we're going to take our break. When we come back from the break, we're going to start building with our APIs. So, chat, what are APIs? gives back information. Application programming interface, love it. Menu. Yeah. So API definitely stands for Application Programming Interface. So we have to break that down. Application Programming Interface. And so I like to think of an API as just a simple interface for some complex action. Now, the example we like to use is a restaurant menu. And that menu is your interface, right? You're able to look at that menu and select something off that menu and some complex action that happens and you get food. So my wife and I celebrated over the weekend making partner. And when we celebrated, there's this vegan soul food restaurant in LA that we ordered food from. So I had a very simple interface. There was a menu. From that menu, I was able to make an order. That order went all the way to the restaurant. The restaurant made that order, and then that food was delivered to me. There was a very, very complex action that happened, right? Very, very complex action that happened with a very simple interface. I basically clicked, I want those few things. Something happened. I don't even know what happened. I don't know how it was cooked. I don't know how it was prepared. I don't know if they drove fast or slow to pick it up. I don't know if they took the 405 to come back. I don't know anything that happened. I had a very simple interface, and all this complex stuff happened in the back behind what I could see. APIs are the real same thing. We've been using web APIs, and our interface is what? What is our interface when it comes to the web APIs that we've been using? When we're asking for data back from a web API, what's the interface that we've been using? Yes, Yash got it. Yep. It's our URL. The URL is the interface, right? The URL is what we're using. It's just like the menu. All right, we want this thing, right? Well, the URL is letting us know, oh, this is the thing I want. So we use that URL, and from that URL, we're able to go all the way to a server. That server gets all the data that we need based off of that menu item, and then sends all that information back to us. Now, we don't know what's happening on that server. All we know is that we requested, hit my microphone. All we know is that we requested a URL, and we got all this lovely JSON object goodness back. I don't know what they're doing on that server. I don't even know where that server is, honestly. I have no idea what's going on. Just like I had no idea what was going on in the kitchen at that vegan soul food restaurant, right? I had no idea. I don't know what's going on. I just know I ordered something and I got delicious food back. It's the same thing with our URLs. We use that URL, we get some delicious JSON back that we can use to build our applications with. Okay? Same thing. So just think of it as a simple interface, does some complex thing. We don't have to know how that thing is being implemented in the background. Cool. Typically, we're going to use APIs to make a request, and we're going to get some of that lovely JSON data back. Some of you ran into some APIs where you weren't getting JSON back. You were getting some XML or even HTML back, and so you don't really have control over what that server responds with, but hopefully you're using an API that's giving you JSON so that it's easy to play with and parse. Yeah. Cores is also something folks have been running into. Yep. So we're going to talk a little bit more about cores when we come back, but the the idea here is that there are some protections that are put in place to make sure certain bits of data are not sent on your behalf. And one of those things is how cores is implemented. And it can be the bane of your existence when you are new to APIs and you're not getting the data you want back. You keep running into cores errors. So we're going to talk through those. We'll make sure that you feel comfortable with what's actually happening there. Cool. We saw basic fetches. We're going to add some other stuff to the mix later on. Async await and other fun stuff. Axios as we go down the line. But for now, we're using fetches to make requests to URLs and get data back. We saw the dog CEO API. We got really cute dog photos back. We used the cocktail database API to get delicious cocktails back. And with the cocktail database, we were able to put in query parameters. And so query parameters were not only just the regular URL, but anything after the question mark enabled us to make a little bit more of a featureful request, right? It's more of a featureful request, right? Like I don't want just any cocktail. I want a margarita cocktail back, right? So it enables us to send a little bit more information along with our request so we get more specific data back. Cool. Alrighty. So when we come back from break, we're going to work through a Dungeons and Dragons API, start getting some fun data back, parsing through that data, making sure that we're able to use it. So let's go ahead and take a 5-minute break. If you are able to get up and move, please do that. If you can stay seated and get some hand stretches in, please do that. If you can move your eyes away from the screen and let them focus on something else that is not the screen for a little bit, go ahead and do that. I'm going to go ahead and bring up the timer. Adil, I got your hydration. Let me pull up the timer real quick. Cool. All right. Take your 5 minutes. I'm going to put some break music on here. Alrighty. Adil, thank you for the hydration. Cheers to you. I'm going to get a drink in. Thank you for the hydration. Chat's not showing up. That's so weird. Sometimes it just works and sometimes it doesn't. Was it working in the other one? Cool. All right, folks, take your break if you're able to. How often do you work with APIs in a professional setting? Every day. Every day. Now, it depends, like, because there are web APIs, there are other types of APIs, right? Oh, there we go. There we go. So I'm probably using some sort of API pretty regularly. DOM APIs, other fun stuff. Remember, an API is just like a simple interface that's doing something complex. If you've ever used like geolocation, like you've ever been to a website that like gives like your, like it says allow or block location, that's a form of an API, right? There are like APIs built into like how HTML and the DOM works, right? So there are more than just web APIs. And so API usage is a very kind of natural thing that you do a lot. It's just a simple interface to doing something complex. And think about all of programming. There's a lot of really complex things that can happen that we don't really have to fully grasp what's happening. We just want to be able to get the result of that thing happening. That's cool, Bugaboo. Trying to make a tracker of like the top 10. Okay. No, Emma, no. So I fell asleep watching The Bachelor and dreamt that we were all from chat competing for Leon's attention. So many people, and Missy, hey, been there, had those dreams before myself too. Ignore the waving emote. That's hilarious, Missy. If you're able to take a break, please go ahead and take that break. You got 2 minutes left. Is there an API that needs the API key in HTML? What do you mean by it being in HTML? Like, a lot of times you'll plug in your API keys when you make your requests. Yeah. I've kind of stayed away from APIs that use API keys because then y'all will steal my API keys. So like the one that we did see was NASA's, because NASA lets you generate one without like verifying email address. So that's the one we showed, but you probably won't see me do too many more of them on stream. Once we get the back end, there's ways for me to hide it a little bit more easier. But yeah. My favorite is I had like a weather API, and whenever I would go to teach my class with the weather API, I could never make the request because my students would always download my code beforehand and run it a bunch of times. So by the time I actually got the chance to get to that point in lecture, they'd already burned through my free data cap. And so I had to start like releasing the API keys mid through lecture so that I could actually make the requests myself. Constant Pro, I have not, but I'm down to try it. Working on my personal site right now. It's been a long time coming. Hey, glad you're getting to it. Key access APIs are so annoying. Yeah, you gotta like go through all the steps. We want all your secrets. What secrets do you want? Oh, my API key secrets. Our season, yeah, it was not the best. Leon, I gotta confess, as much as I love this boot camp, I need this upcoming break. Thanks for everything you do. Absolutely, Kev. That's why we're doing it. A man of the people. Folks have been struggling for a little bit, and I want to make sure that you have a chance to get a little bit of rest in, get a little bit more sleep in, and catch up if you need to catch up. It is Blah. It's the best thing I ever purchased for my wife that I use all the time. All right, folks, come on back. Let's get into this. Hope you had a good break. I have a feeling this class will not go as long as our normal ones, because we've got 2 APIs we're going to play with. Maybe that takes a little bit longer than we're expecting, but come on back, folks. Hope you had a good break. Let me chill the music here. Alrighty. Crumb Hustler, hey, thank you so much for the 5 gifted subs. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for being here. Whew. That's 25 gifted subs in the channel. Thank you so much. That's wild. I appreciate all the support. It was good talking to you yesterday. Alrighty. I came in late. My first season was Nick, and then I watched Lindsay's. And then I watched Bachelor in Paradise. And then I started Ari's season. Yeah. Welcome. Cool. Let's get into this, folks. Alrighty. So we have some starter code. And that starter code is just basically a rendition of our API template. It's just labeled D&D. So I'm going to go ahead and open that up. And all it is a very simple API request to a Dungeons and Dragons API. Okay, so go ahead and open that up. All right, didn't miss anything. We're just getting started. Go ahead and open up that Dungeons and Dragons or that D&D folder, and it's a very just simple kind of starter API. And if we go ahead and we look at the API, there's a lot of really cool stuff that you can do. But the first thing I want to do is I want to get a specific spell back. And when I get that specific spell, I want to put it into the DOM. But there's a really cool thing about this API is it returns all the classes and subclasses that can use the spell or associate it with the spell. And so what I want you to do is to make a request to this API, and then I want you to be able to get the subclasses and put them in this UL. Now, You can do this in a few steps. The first step is just getting data back from the API. All right. The first step is just getting data back from the API. The next step would be to console log the subclasses. And then the last step would be to see if you can actually get those subclasses into the DOM. So a couple different steps here. First step is just getting data back. Second step is parsing through and getting the subclass data. And then the last step is actually trying to see if you can get them into the DOM. So the API is in the actual code. Like you can just see the API link in the code, but I'm also going to post it in our chat here. So there you go. So that's the API docs right there in chat. And I'm using Postman. So with Postman, I can check and see what comes back from this API. So I'm just going to grab this asset arrow. I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to throw it into Postman. Cool. I'm going to send it. Silly, I'm always going to send it. And if we look, there's this subclasses that's an array, and there's names of lore and land. So that's what I'm looking for. So I want you to be able to make a request, get data back, and start by console logging the classes, subclasses, and then see if you can get, magic missile. See if you can get the subclasses into the DOM. So we're gonna take a full 10 minutes. I want you to work on this first by yourself, and then we're gonna come back and we're gonna do it together. So get data coming back, get it into the console, ask questions here in chat if you're getting stuck, and then try your hardest to get it into the DOM. The DOM part's tricky. You might have to look about how you can append LIs to a UL, but that's what we're gonna work on. So I'm gonna put 10 minutes on the clock here. If you're able to finish, put a dunzo in the chat. We're gonna put 10 minutes on the clock. Please, 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 please ask questions as you're working on this. Cool. 10 minutes. You got this. All right. So the task is we're working through the D&D starter code. You're making a request, right? You're making a request to this D&D API, and you're trying to get the subclass data. You want to print the subclasses first to the console and then put them into the DOM, okay? If you see more than those subclasses I have, that's all right. Put all the subclasses you're getting back from the API first into a console log and then into the DOM. That's what we're shooting for here. Can you all hear the break music? Is it too loud, too light? The work music. You can hear it? No, it's good. Good volume. It's lovely. All right, cool. Just making sure. Yeah, so they're like the folks that can use the spells, and then you have these subclasses. That's part of the data you come back. I just want any subclass you're getting back, I want that going into the DOM eventually. Yeah, so we're using the spells. So we are looking at just use this default spells asset arrow. That's what you're looking for, is asset arrow. Spells asset arrow. Use that one to test. That's what we're testing with. Yep, just the names. Got a lot of new folks tonight. Welcome all the new folks that stopped by. Let's go through some of these. KeyX, JJJJJ, T8, Girl with Box, Nosh Shadow, Strings 42, Lope, Constable, St. Louis, Just Pogie, Body 575, Sal Dev, Phillips, Dread Rasta, DJ Colombo, Zaxiums. Welcome, welcome. Hope you're enjoying yourself. Hope you're learning some fun stuff with JavaScript this evening. I don't have any of the extensions installed. I just use the web app. Yeah, I don't even have it downloaded on my computer. I just use the web app. The web app of Postman does everything I ever really needed it to do. And if I can save not installing stuff on my computer, I don't. So yeah. Will with the done. Well, that was quick. 4 minutes. All of them are going into the DOM. Wow. Well done. Is it flexible, Will? Can you do other spells with more subclasses and have it work? You didn't hard code it, right? Just making sure. Needed to work on multi-worded spells. Interesting problem to have, Wolfpack. That's something we're going to talk through how to solve together. But I think that's a really neat one, because if we look at the API, how does it handle? I think if you look at the names, it's putting hyphens in them. So if we look at it, it's expecting hyphens. So we got to be careful with that. Yeah, just make it replace the space in the spells. There's a way to do that, right? We learned about our split and our joins. The API expects plus signs? Huh, that's weird that they gave one that had a hyphen in it. Ooh, we got some more dunzos coming in. Jordy, Mayu, Nox Pliea, Noxia, Bleebly. Why not replace? You could do replace, absolutely. The D4NE diggity done. All right, let's go. Got 4 minutes left, 4 minutes, 30 seconds left. Still plenty of time to play around with this one. Like I said, start trying to get some data, right? What data do I want? I want the subclass data. So if you do that, the default one that they're asking you to do, that asset arrow, you'll see classes of like wizard, and then you're going to see a subclass of lore and land. I want those subclasses. First, I want the subclasses just console logged, and then I want you to put those subclasses into the DOM. So that's what we're trying to do. Ooh, accordion with the done. All right. Kind of done cheese, please. All right. Telescope thieves with the done. Winter with the done. Cake-offs. Brian, how the heck? How the heck what, Brian? Got 3 minutes, 30 seconds left. Plenty of time to get some data coming back. Is the Ivy League overrated? I mean, I had a fantastic experience at Yale. I worked with folks that were top of their field. Some of the folks I got to interact with were some of the brightest folks in the country. I loved my time there. But if you're talking about like just in terms of like raw getting a job, I think there are other pathways to a great, phenomenal job that don't involve college. Where to start? I got the results. All right, so now you got the results. You want to go ahead and console log them. Make sure you can see them. Yeah, like go ahead and console log them, right? Make sure you can see them. And then you want to try getting them into the DOM, right? You want to see if you can get them showing up in the HTML. If you got a hard code one to get it in there, just like putting like the first response in, go ahead. But eventually I think you're gonna need some sort of loop. You're gonna need to be able to loop through all of them to put all of them into the DOM. Sheenan with the done, all right. Cutter9, yeah, I wish I knew that now. Yeah, the folks that attend the Resilient Coders Bootcamp, most of them do not have degrees, and in 20 weeks they're getting 6-figure offers. So 4 years and lots of debt versus 20 weeks and 6-figure career. I don't know. There's a magical window open right now, and we're trying to get as many folks through that window right now as possible. Trey Metal with the done. Jelly with the done. Hey, let's go. Minute 30 left. Minute 30. Dig deep. You got this. Need to get through that window for real. Hey, I'm holding it open. Let's go. We're going to sneak as many folks in there before they realize what's going on. Angel with the dunzo. Boom, got the dunzo. Funny, I saw your message on Slack. I got to respond to you. I'll respond to you today. Kind of done. Everything is in the DOM, but both subclasses are on the same line. That's okay. We just wanted them in there for now. I think we can clean that up as we go along. Major lift. Hey, thank you so much. I appreciate that. It was the work that we put in. It's the community. I'm stumped. That's all right. We're gonna go over it. Get me a ladder. Done, I think, Bobby Lynn. All right, let's go. I cannot do timed exercises. Yeah, the timed exercise. Don't worry, you can't finish them. You should view the timed exercises as your turn to explore, because we always go over them together, right? We always go over them together. So the focus shouldn't be getting them 100% done, but trying to understand the themes, what was happening, what was going on, so that we can then apply them together. So if you're not crushing these and getting them done before the timer goes off, that's entirely okay. Like for a lot of these, especially as we continue, they're going to get harder and harder. And yeah, that's not the expectation. Play with them, see if you can get to a point where you might have a better idea of the problem, and then we're going to go over it together. Cool. Let's go ahead and take a look at these together. Kenny Ferris Dev, 3 months. Thank you so much. You rock, Leon. Hey, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. All right, let's go ahead and go over this together. If you didn't finish, like I said, that's entirely okay. Let's take a peek at it together. I'm gonna chill the music here. Boom. Alrighty. It works for multiple. Hey, let's go. Oh no, blah. Alright, I kind of get this. Core's repping when I did the homework. Don't worry, we're gonna get there. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and look at this together. So let's first start off by making sure that we're getting some data back from the API. We have the URL in here, and we can see some pieces that are happening. So let's walk through these little pieces that are happening. All right. So we have a normal event listener. So when we click on that button, it runs this function. This function is going to grab the value out of the input, right? This function is going to grab the value out of the input and store it in choice. So that's where our asset arrow is going to go. So let's go ahead and look at choice. It's going to go ahead and grab the value out of the input and choice will be holding asset arrow. And then down here, we see a template literal where we're able to plug that asset arrow into the end. So we are making a request to this D&D 5th edition API that will include the asset arrow choice. So let's go ahead and make sure that we can console log the data first. So let's go ahead and console log. And we're going to throw the data in there. Boom. All right, we got some data in there. I accidentally removed. There we go. Whoops. All right. Don't know how I did that, but all right, we're going to console log the data. Let's make sure this works. I'm going to go ahead and open this in my browser. And I'm going to open up my inspector. And I'm going to go to my console. And then I'm going to make this way bigger so that we can actually see what the heck's going on. Cool. And I'm going to get my head out the way. All right, so when I click this button, let me go ahead and put in, we're looking for asset arrow. So let's go ahead and put in asset arrow. And I'm going to click get spell data. And if it works, we should see something right above. Cool. We got this lovely object back, right? And what I like to do is I actually like to make sure that all these things work before I even really put them into my JavaScript. I always take the route or the URL and I plug it into Postman. So I just go to Postman and I'm just going to start from scratch just so you can see it. So I come to Postman, I click a new one and I throw in my request URL and I click send. And the reason why I like to use Postman is because I don't have to like set up my template or make sure that it's working. And then it gives me like a really nice, pretty visualization of the JSON object I am getting back, right? Postman is just an app. It's a web app that I use. They also have like a standalone version that you can install on your computer. It just makes it really easy to make requests, right? Make a request and see what you're getting back. It visualizes the data for you in a really pretty way, and you don't have to set anything up, right? You don't have to like set up your JavaScript or anything like that. You just plug in the URL, click send, and you get your data back. So it's just a really quick way. I think one of the major frustrations folks have when they first start with APIs is finding actual APIs that work. And so Postman just makes it really easy to confirm that the API works, that endpoint works, without having to go through all the trouble of setting it up and all that fun stuff. Cool. Yeah. Cool. Let's go ahead and take a look. All right, so we got some data back. The data I really cared about, so we scroll down, was there are like these classes. You can see wizard, but then there are these subclasses, lore and land. I want the subclasses. And if we look, the subclasses are just a property on the original object that came back. It doesn't look like there's any other like movement inside of the object. It just looks like it's one level in. So what I'm going to try doing is just data.subclasses. Using that dot notation, right? Using that dot notation to make sure I can grab all the subclasses. Let's go ahead and try that. I'm going to come over here to my actual JavaScript. Instead of console logging data, I'm going to do data.subclasses. Cool. I'm going to save that. I'm going to come back and refresh. Type in asset arrow and get spell data. Cool. You can see I got back. What did I get back, chat? What did I get back here? What is this? What did I get back? I got toasters. Yeah. I got an array of objects. I know it's an array because I see the square brackets. Boop, boop. And I know that it's an array of objects because I can see the curly braces. Boop, 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 boop. There we go. So I got an array full of objects. And so the cool thing is, if I have an array, I can loop through every element in the array. What method comes with an array that makes it really easy to loop through this stuff? Yeah, I can use for each. So let's go ahead and do that. So I got my data.subclasses back. So I'm going to do data.subclasses for each. Cool. So I'm going to get a for each coming back. And all I'm going to do is I just want to console log what's coming back. There we go. So let's go ahead and save this. And we're going to console log this value that's coming in. Cool. Let's see what happens. All I'm doing is I'm looping through subclasses. Remember, subclasses was an array. So I'm using for each to move through that array. So let's see what happens. Maybe we get some useful stuff. Maybe we don't. Cool. Refresh it. Asset. Arrow. And get spell data. Cool. There we go. You can see that my loop worked. My loop worked. I got the first object out, and then I got the second object out. Right? So my loop worked. It ran once, grabbing that first object, and then it ran again, grabbing the second object. All right? We can see that when we console log subclasses, it was an array that had 1, 2 objects. So we knew that for each was going to run twice. It should have ran twice, and that's what we saw. We got the first object out, and we got the second object out. Cool. Let's go back and look at that real quick, just to make sure that's clear. Remember, data was the entire JSON object that we got back. We saw that there was a property in that huge object called subclasses. And what we noticed about subclasses was that it was an array, and that array had 2 objects in it, right? No nuns emote in chat. I thought that would have triggered a wall of nuns. But yeah, so the idea here is that we saw that subclasses was an array of objects. And so since it is an array, since it's an array, we can use that for each. Chat. In this scenario, what is X? What is X going to be holding? Chat, what is X going to be holding in this scenario? Yeah, it's going to be holding each object, right? It's going to be holding each object that's in the array. Hey, well, thank you. I appreciate that. It's going to be holding each object that's in that array, right? Remember, it was an array, and that array had 2 objects in it. Right, we can see them in the browser here, an array that had 2 objects in it. Boom, boom, and so X is just going to be holding each of those objects. Okay, now, right now I'm just console logging them, but what if I just wanted the names? Right, if we look at each of these, there is an index property, a name property, and a URL property. I just want the name. So let's console log x.name. Cool. Now, if this works, what we should see is print it to the console, lore, and then land. So let's go ahead and try it. Let's refresh. Asset arrow. We got our data back, right? We see the array that came back, and we also saw lore and land. Because what happened here on this for each is that this for each ran, and it popped off this first object right? And then it popped off and grabbed the second object. The first time it popped off, it got this dot name, which was lore. And then this one popped off and it got dot name, which was land. Okay. And we can see that inside of the for each. We're going to grab each of those objects. X is going to be holding each of those objects. And we're just doing X dot name on each. Cool. X is just each of those objects, right? Each of those objects that was inside that array. Now, here's the tricky bit. Now we don't want to just console log the values. We want to put those values, right? We want to put those values into the DOM. So it could be anything. X is the placeholder. Exactly. In fact, we could change this up. Maybe since we know it's holding objects, we do something like obj, right? Obj. Right? Obj, right? That's saying like, all right, it's holding these objects. Maybe we're just getting the name off the object. So let's make sure it still works. Asset. Well, let's refresh. Asset arrow. So look, it's the same thing. We changed it from X to obj, right? Obj just because we know that it's holding both of these objects. First this one and then this one. All right. So now we're console logging them, but we don't want to console log them. So let me go ahead and get rid of this. And let me give myself some curly braces here. The curly braces are just so I have some more room inside of this arrow function to start doing some stuff. All right. I want to not just console log each of these names. I want to put them into the DOM. And if I look, I have a UL, right? I have a UL. And so what I want to do is I want to append LIs to this UL, right? I want to append LIs to this UL. So anyone in chat know how to create an LI? Do you know how to create an LI? What is the code to create an LI? I want to create an LI. I want to put the name into that LI. And then I want to put that LI in the UL. All right. There you go. Create element. Create element. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and do const li equals, and then we're going to say document dot create element, and we're going to pass in li. So every single time this for loop runs, I'm going to create an li. Then I'm going to put the name into that li. So the next line would do li dot text content, right? Li dot text content equals, and chat, what am I going to set text content to? What am I going to set text content to? Yep. Why are so many people getting commented out for this? Oh, because it thinks it's a URL. I forgot that name is a TLD now. Sorry, folks. If you're doing dot notation in chat, you're getting you're getting don't get timed out. Stop spamming it. It thinks that you are trying to type a URL, but you're just trying to use dot notation. Come on, Twitch. We need to be able to use proper dot notation in chat. All right. We're going to do exactly what chat was trying to say. Object.name. Remember, we're looping through that array of objects. OBJ is holding each of them, and we're going to grab the name property. So this should be this obj.name the first time should be lore. Then the second time would be land, right? The asterisks remind me of like that really old meme. Like one of like the internet's like I think like first like real major trolls was there's this post that was it was like on a I want to say it was maybe been in like a use group, but it was hey, if you type your password on this forum, the code automatically asterisks out your password. And so everyone would type out like they were trying to trick people into typing out their password. And so what they did is they just typed asterisks. So they pretended that when they typed their password it did asterisks, and then somebody else typed their actual password. I think it was like Hunter2 or something like that. Yeah, Hunter2, exactly. Yeah. And so it was like one of the earliest like internet trolls where you're like, hey, on this like Usenet group or forum, if you type your password, it recognizes it and replaces it with asterisks, and it trolled people into actually typing their real password because it wasn't actually doing it. Yeah. Good old social engineering. All right, back to this. We've created an LI. Right? We've created an LI. And once we created the LI, like the actual DOM element for the LI, we put the object name inside of it. And then the last thing that we have to do here is now that we have the LI, is we have to append that LI to the DOM. And we already have a UL. So we're just going to append the LI to the UL. So we're going to do document.querySelector. And there's only one UL, so we don't have to do anything fancy. And then we're going to do something called append child. Cool. Now, the only thing we're going to append is just that LI. All right. So what's happening here? What's happening here is that, all right, we got two subclasses back. We got two objects back. We had an array that had two objects inside of it, right? So this for each is going to run twice. Each time it runs, it's going to create an LI, put the name from the object into the LI, and then append that LI to the UL. And since there were two objects, this is going to run twice. Let's see what's happening. Cool. Let's see what's happening. Let's save it. Let's go back. Let's go ahead and refresh and do asset arrow. Get spell data. All right. We saw that we got our normal array with two objects console logged. But if we scroll down, oh, baby. If we scroll down, let's make this bigger. If we scroll down, we can see lore and land inside of the UL. Whew. Let's inspect element. Let's inspect it. And if we look, our UL now has lore and it has land inside of it. So two LIs inside of that UL. If we look at our original HTML, it was just an empty UL, right? It was just an empty UL. It's coming from inside the UL. It's just like a Chrome thing, yeah. Cool. All right, let's run this back one more time just to step through it, see what's happening, and then we're gonna move on to another lovely API. If you're new here, folks, welcome. We are running a 30-week software engineering bootcamp for entirely free. You can come join us, !100 devs in the chat. We'll tell you everything you need to know, how to catch up, how to join us live. And the cool thing is we're taking a break next week. So you have time to catch up if you want to join us live before we get into the back end, right? So join us. If you're new and you haven't followed, go ahead and give a follow. So that way more folks can see us and you can come back whenever we're live, every Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Cool. Welcome. All right. Let's run it back one more time. We're going to look at this and then we're going to move on. We'll take a break just to give your your brain's a little bit of a rest here. Bill Gates, hey, with the hydration. Cheers to you. Thank you for the hydration. Cheers to you. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at this. Mr. Microsoft Hydrate. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and walk through it one more time. We can see that we have a button here that we're clicking. We can see that we have an input where we're getting a value from. And the idea is that the user can enter in a spell. And when they click this button, we get all of the subclasses that can use that spell. So let's go ahead and take a look at our code. All right. We have an event listener. This line of code here is just listening for a click. When it hears a click on this button, this button right here, it runs this function. A function is just a set of instructions, right? Just a set of instructions. And so what's going to happen here is we are going to get the spell out of the input, plug it into our URL, and then make a fetch to that URL. We're going to get some JSON data back. The first thing we're doing is we are console logging that data that came back and using dot notation to look at the subclasses on that data. We noticed when we looked at it that there was an array with 2 objects inside. And so since there was more than one, we can loop through all those objects. And that's what we're doing with the for each. The for each is enabling us to loop through those objects. And as we loop through each object, we're doing one thing. We're creating an LI, right? And we're appending that LI to the UL. So the first object we grab, we create an LI. We put the name property of the object into the LI, and then we append that LI to the UL. Then this for each runs a second time because there were 2 objects in the array. The second time that this runs, it does the same thing. It creates a new LI. It puts the name property from that object into the LI, and then appends that LI to the UL. And if there were 100 subclasses, we would have 100 LIs. If there were 5 objects, 5 would go into the UL. So it's just enabling us to, no matter how many subclasses we get back, right? No matter how many subclasses we get back, we are able to put all of them into the DOM. All right. Yeah, this required kind of like no hidden or anything like that because we're adding them dynamically to the DOM. We're not hiding and showing stuff. We're getting results and plugging them directly in. If you use another spell, it keeps adding LIs. How do you clear the UL? So you can do a couple of different things. You can actually remove all the LIs from the UL. You could delete the UL, like remove the whole UL. You could do that and add a new one. There are a couple different ways you could go about doing that. So you could also be cheeky, force a refresh. There are a bunch of stuff you can do, but probably removing the LIs would probably be the best thing. Cool. Other questions while we're here. Other questions while we're here. Other questions while we're here. I used a different spell and it worked. Where do I append for a name? Like, let's say my last name is Preston and I wanted to add my last name. How would I append the Lee? So here, when you're putting the text content into the LI, you can put whatever you want here. So you could put like, you could put some like text here first, right? You could put like Bob, right? And then plus the object name or something like that. And then that would concatenate and then be put into the LI. So either just kind of like concatenation or anything you really put here can go into the LI. Cool. I'll have to rewatch. My brain is rejecting this a little. Yeah, this is a tricky one at first. We're going to take a break. I'm getting an error on line 8, and asset arrow is not showing like how it works for you. Line 8. Maybe your URL is incorrect. That could be something that's throwing you off there. Make sure try console logging the URL before you make the fetch. Make sure it's a correct URL. Jimmy, we never went over them. That's probably something you have to MDN, something you have to look up. You know, a lot of these things we're going to kind of be up to you to use some Google foo. You didn't miss anything. Just and this is something that even like I forget, and so I look it up too. Cool. All right. We are at the top of the hour, so let's go ahead and take our 5-minute break. When we come back, we are going to continue with another API. We're going to do a little bit of review on our local storage. And then once we've reviewed our local storage, we're going to look at building a book tracker that utilizes that local storage. So let's go and take our 5-minute break. When we come back, we will move into the next API. Let me go ahead and put that up here on the screen. So if you're able, please get up, hydrate, move a little bit, look at something other than your screen. Remember, we try to be healthy. We're in this for our careers. So go ahead, 5 minutes on the timer. Go ahead and utilize it. I'll see you in 5 minutes. Folks, please hydrate. Do what you gotta do. Have I seen Michael B's new A commercial? I'm not gonna say it because then all mine will go off. I have not. Is it a good one? Believely, I use OGX products, both their shampoo and their conditioner. I've tried many others. Those are the ones I come back to the most. All right, folks, if you're able to, what brand? OGX, they're like a light green, light bluish color. Yeah. It's hilarious. I'll watch it. I'll watch it after stream. OGX sponsor him. Yeah, I wish. I go through that stuff so quick. Goddess, hello. I want to be like you, but I'm afraid to lift my job and don't have enough money in the future with Twitch. I don't make my money from Twitch. None of this. I don't make a single cent from this. So this is not my job. Yeah, I'm very fortunate to work for an amazing nonprofit, and that's my day job. And all the subs, all the cheers, all of that is just a donation to that nonprofit. So I make it work after work. I guess that makes sense. But yeah, it's fun. Alrighty. Like I said, you got 2 minutes, 30 seconds. Go ahead and take a good break. Get up, move around, grab some water, hydrate, kiss some babies if you're able to. 2 minutes. Can we see the code? Yeah, sure. Happy to show you the code. There's the code for you. And of course, I'll always share the code after class as well. So you can always come back to Discord after class and you'll have the code. I never tried that one, Miriam. I'll add that to my mix. Goddess, get to it. Try it out. You have a lot of folks that are in the science and tech that are doing kind of classes and educational stuff. It's been great. Myself, I don't know if Incendilosaurus is still here. Mastermind was here earlier. Lots of folks that are doing educational content here on Twitch. It's been a great community to be a part of. Yeah. It seems really wild. Like, and I get to see all the numbers, right? Like I get to see everything coming in, and there's just no way. Like I just thought, like, I guess we're a little bit different though. I don't ask for subs. I don't ask for bits. I don't like put that stuff on the screen or anything like that. Like I don't like incentivize that in any way, shape, or form. And so like I can see the stuff that's coming in for RC, and there's like no way that it could be like a full-time thing just at the level I'm at. But then I look at some other streamers that are like the same numbers as ours, but they've been doing it for a really long time. And so I think over time your sub base, like that grows. And so if you've been doing it for like 2 or 3 years, that sub base grows enough to where I'm gonna put the timer back on so folks can see it as well. You got 2 seconds. I think that sub base grows and it becomes easier to make a living off of it, but as it stands right now, it'd be nowhere close to like a real like income, you know? So I think it's extremely difficult, and the numbers are really wild. The numbers on Twitch are really wild. I didn't know these numbers, but somebody was posting in the Twitch subreddit that that there are 4 million folks that streamed to Twitch. 4 million folks streamed to Twitch last month or something. Like it was just a wild number. And of those 4 million, 0.64% were partnered. And so like it's just how many, like that's a lot of folks trying to chase that dream. And so I think it's something very, very hard and difficult to achieve. Yeah. Cool. Suma, we only do the Google form during office hours. If you have a question, go ahead and ask it here in chat. Sometimes they go too fast and I can't see all of them, but you can always highlight it with your channel points and stuff like that too. Cool. All right, folks, hope you had a funny. I hope you had a great break. Come on back. Jeezy, thank you for the hydration. Alrighty. Cool. Let's go ahead and we got this one working. Crumb Hustler with the stretch. All right. Oh, and BB Tone, thank you for the 100 bits. Appreciate it. Power final hour. Let's go. All right. Crumb Hustler, thank you for the stretch. You know how this goes. If you want to see me stretching in all of this high quality 1080p goodness, you know what to do. OnlyFans. Not that kind of stream, folks. Oh yeah. Alrighty, let's go ahead and move on from this one. This one is a really good, I'm gonna chill the music here too. This one is just a really good example of something that you'll do often with web APIs. You're going to get some data back, right? You're going to get some data back, right? And when you get some data back, you are going to have to parse through it. So this is a really good example of like getting a big object. That object had a property that was an array. That array had objects inside of it. And that's a lot of the playing with when you get these web APIs back. And so it's something you're going to practice, something that you're going to do more and more. And so it's something I wanted to do with you this evening. Shadi, hey, thank you for the hydration. Cheers to you. Emma B, you're gonna be like leading like somebody can like YOLO all their channel. Like maybe there's like a way you can rig the YOLOs so that only one person wins. I shouldn't have said that. That's something y'all might actually do. I feel like the term parse is still fumbling me up. Can you describe parse and better explain it? So parse is like just like all parse means is to pull something out, right? So let's say you had a bucket of chicken. Like you're at KFC and you got a big old bucket of chicken, right? You can parse out all the drumsticks, right? You can parse out all the drumsticks. Then you can parse out all the thighs, right? And maybe you get lucky and there's a French fry in there and you got to parse out the French fry as well, right? Or the potato wedge. I'm big, I only eat KFC. The potato wedge, right? KFC did have a limited run of vegan chicken. I did not get a chance to try that yet, but I'm looking forward to it. And so the idea here is that it was one bucket of data, one bucket of chicken, and we were able to parse out the things that we cared about, pull it out, break it apart, get the things that we want. And the same thing happens with our APIs, right? With our APIs, we get all this data back, and we have to pick through it to get the pieces that we want. And that like picking through the data to get what you want is called parsing, right? Cool. Some of y'all wild in chat. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and continue on. This is a fun one. I would say that you should probably clean this one up a little bit. And this could be like a fun way to kind of practice some more of your kind of DOM manipulation API work to get more and more things showing up on this page. So if you were like, hey, I want to practice more of my APIs, I think this is a really good API to practice with. This API has a lot of good stuff going for it. There's lots of different spells and different endpoints that you can use. There's lots of data that comes back that you can parse. And it's also something that, like, if you ever played Dungeons and Dragons, can actually be pretty helpful to be able to like build this out so that it would be helpful during a session. So if it's something that interests you, it's one of those ones I would probably come back to and play around with more and get more detailed answers showing up in the DOM. Yeah, Winter, I think that'd be really fun. All right. Let's review local storage. All right, let's review local storage. And then we're going to do one more kind of API practice. And then we're going to talk about kind of some of the work over break. And we'll end it there for the day. So we got to go over local storage. We're going to do one more kind of like detailed work with some APIs. I'm going to give you a few minutes to practice and play with it on your own. And then we'll come back and work on it together. Cool. So local storage. Local storage enables you to store data across browser sessions. So what that means is that if you, whoops, sorry, my bad. What that means is if you refresh your page all your data doesn't disappear. You can store your data, right, so that you can use it across sessions. So the really cool thing about local storage is it enables you to build applications that really have value, right? Is it like a cache? Yeah. Yeah, you're like storing some data locally. It's Sabotage. Hey, thank you for the gifted sub. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Right? So the idea here is that you're able to store data across, like, you can close your browser, reopen it, you can refresh, right? And so the cool thing is that we can start building real applications like that you would use over a longer period of time, right? So far, our apps have been things that are ephemeral, like they like you refresh and it goes away, and so it's like, why would we ever like use or build these? Once you add local storage to this component, these apps become real. Like, yourself can have a local version, your users can have their own local version, and you can actually start to build things that have real utility, right? And so that's why I really like local storage, is because it enables you to kind of keep these things open. Yep, you can close it, you can refresh it, and yeah, it really is the beginning of working with databases. So when we come back from our break, we're moving into backend, and when we get to backend, we're going to be using databases. Local storage, right? Local storage is the same thing as a database, but instead of it going across the interwebs to a server and coming back, it's just on your machine. But it's the same idea, right? My local storage cannot interact with someone else's local storage. That's correct. It's on your machine. It's like a literal file on your computer. Yeah. It's like a literal file on your computer where you store data. What can it be used for in an app? Whatever you want. You can store whatever you want into that local storage. You can store, like, you could have stored the results of all your spells from the D&D, right? Maybe you're building an app for Dungeons and Dragons. Like, so if you've never played Dungeons and Dragons before, there's a dungeon master that's kind of like telling a cooperative story with other folks that are playing with you, and you have what are called characters, and you got to keep track of your characters and all the things they can do and all their abilities and stuff like that. So with this API, you could have built an app that enables you to build out your characters, but as soon as you're refreshed, your character would disappear. With local storage, you could have stored your character into local storage, and every single time you played D&D, kept updating that singular character. So it is a way to make sure that you can keep data across sessions and actually have real utility for your apps. Hey, Leon, is your 1v1 turned off? I don't think so. It shouldn't be. 1v1 D&D. I would be open to maybe running like a D&D one shot over the break. I wouldn't be opposed to it. I think that could be fun. Folks have never played D&D. We could have like one character that's chat. So chat could be a character. Twitch plays D&D with Leon. Yeah, and like the character could do stuff based off, I don't know, like channel points or something. I think that'd be funny. Yeah, like each person is like, to do something, it's like 1,000 channel points or something like that. Yeah, I think that'd be fun. Let me think about that. I think that'd be a fun thing to do during break. Cool. Oops, sorry. So the idea here is that we are, with local storage, able to keep track of data, and when we refresh, it just doesn't disappear. Ooh, I think it's a good idea, Blow. Yeah, I think we're definitely going to do some sort of game night during break. So during break, we're doing some sort of fun game night. We'll figure out how what it'll be and stuff like that, but we'll definitely do some sort of game night during break for sure. Cool. With local storage, you can put something into local storage. So here I am putting a best friend property with a value of Bob into local storage. I can then get the item out of local storage. You could have just done get item best friend. You didn't need Bob there. You can remove an item from local storage, and you can remove everything in local storage with local storage.clear. So it's really just these couple of commands: set item, get item, remove item. And you don't need these secondary properties for this to work. And then clear, right? If you can remember just those 4 things, you can use local storage to your heart's content and start to build apps that persist, which is huge. Like the idea that you can have an app that like you can really use every day, that's where this stuff starts to become real and you can feel like you're building a solid application. So let's do that. What I want to do is I want you to take 10 minutes to get this open library API working. I picked this one because the documentation's a little rough. Not that it doesn't tell you what to do, just that it's you gotta do a little digging, you gotta do a little reading to figure out how it works. You gotta figure out what URLs to use, right? And you can probably just use Postman to test it, right? So when you think you found the URL, you think you found a book that works, go ahead and throw it into your Postman to test. So what I'm going to do is I want to give you 10 minutes to see if you can get this Open Books API to work. And the goal is to get a book back and to put that book into local storage. Okay? To get a book back and to put that book into local storage. That's what we're going to try and do. To get the book back and to put it into local storage. So let's go ahead and try that. So we are going into the, you can just use the API template for this. But the idea is that we're going to use this Open Library Books API. And you're going to try and get a book back and put that book right into local storage. Okay. It's sabotaged, added 2 minutes of timer. So we get 12 minutes for this now. We get 12 minutes for this. So I'm going to go ahead and put 12 minutes on the clock. And you're going to take 12 minutes to get started. Your first goal is to see if you can get a book back, right? The long-term goal for this project is for us to be able to enter any of our books, right? For us to be able to enter any of our books and have those books, right? Have those books stay in local storage. So put 12 minutes on the clock. Yeah, you're going to get a book back. So I believe this one uses the ISBN number to get a book back. So you're going to want to like take a book and look at the ISBN number. The documentation has one already there. So if you don't have a book handy, you can just use the one that's in the documentation. So we're going to call this like the real book tracker. Only books you have physically in your possession where you can look at the ISBN would go into this tracker. Yeah, it's the ISBN number, but there's one in the documentation that you can use. Cool. So we got 11 minutes. You just go ahead and opening up the API template to get started. It's sabotage. Thank you for adding 2 minutes to the timer. It gives a little bit more time to work on this. I am going to reach behind my green screen and grab a book. I'll be right back. see anybody with a 1v1. Funny, did you redeem it? Are we doing this on the same template layout? Yes. ISBN, hey, that's what it gets, what it worked with. Oh, I don't keep Discord up when I'm streaming because it just like y'all don't know. It would just be like, it would just be beeping the whole. It would just be like I would just see the alerts coming up all during stream, so I keep it off until after. Yeah, it would require me to pause notifications or else something weird. Yeah. All right, folks, still got like 9 minutes or so to work through this. Like I said, you're trying to get a book back. And then store that book into local storage. I can get back Mr. Fox, that's it. Hey, now see if you can put that into local storage. Let me look at it on my phone, maybe. Got 8 minutes left, folks. Keep digging. You got this. Yeah, see if you can put the title into local storage. That's the idea. Can you put more than one book? Can you put more than one book into local storage? Tell us how it feels to be a celeb. Get out of here. Let's see. Keep digging. I don't see it. Did you it should be live. Did you just use the inspector to fake your points, or do you actually have that many points? I got it. Yes. Come on now, y'all. Y'all are developers. You should have known that could have been a thing here. Y'all have been you all have the inspector open right now. You all have the inspector open right now. You should have sniffed that one. That's hilarious. Good try. It was a good try. I was almost like, oh, it must be broken. Let's just do it. That was close. Do you play Pokemon Go? I used to play Pokemon Go for a while. I was the first person to stream Pokemon Go here on stream, but I haven't played it recently. Probably within like the past year or so. I could show you my like rare stuff though. I can show you my Pokemon Home. My Pokemon Home has a lot of really rare stuff. I was showing somebody yesterday during my one-on-ones. I'll show you some of the stuff I have in Pokemon Home. And Dine, hey, thank you for the hydration. Cheers to you. You got about 5 minutes left, folks. 5 minutes to kind of get this going. Like I said, get a book back, store it into local storage. Can you get multiple books into local storage? This is my favorite. Hold on. You can't really see them on this camera. On the webcam, it works really well. Maybe if I'm farther, it's because the green screen on this one. You can't see it, but that is a shiny Bulbasaur, shiny Ditto, shiny Rayquaza. Look at all my shiny Kyogres. All shinies, folks. These are all shinies. I'm only showing you shinies here. Yeah. I have to turn off the green screen to show them all. But yeah, I have all of the legendaries in shiny form, multiples of them, on my Pokemon Home. Ooh, we got some duns already. Telescope Thieves with the dun. All right, let's go. Funny commentary. Jen, that's a very common error. Normally when you see that, maybe you're not requesting JSON. Maybe you're getting some other data back. Check in Postman to see what kind of data you're getting back. You might have to pass a JSON query parameter that would change that. I want a shiny Leon. Yeah, you got to make sure that you're getting the right parameter with the URL. That'd be a cool emote, just like a shiny micro Leon. That's actually not a bad idea. That's a good one. I like that. Ooh, it's noted with the done. All right, folks. 2 minutes, 20 seconds. You got this. Keep going. Just a minute 45 left. You got this. Billy. Bobby Lynn with the Dunzo. The D4NE done. Nice. Why not a throw hands emote? I love it. Shiny done. Just like tier 3 gets all the core emotes just shiny. That's hilarious. That'd be a good one. Yeah, tier 3 is just everything shiny. Just for the flex. Struggle bus emote, that's definitely on the list for sure. Definitely struggle bus. Leon album art emote. I haven't responded to you in that Discord. I will try it after class. That was hilarious. I loved it. My actual mixtape cover comes from a couple days before that photo was taken. My mom hates all those photos because I got into a fist fight right before graduation, and so you can kind of see it in that photo. But my side of my chin is just all black and blue, and so I had to take my end of year photo with that, and so I have this bright yellow. It's bright yellow FUBU shirt on. Bright yellow FUBU shirt on with a big old shiner, and I'm just cheesing like this. That's my album cover. Alrighty, folks. Come on back. Come on back. Hope you got through some of this. Hope you got started. It's okay if you didn't finish. Come on back and we'll go over it. Alrighty, come on back. Come on back. So many awards. Yeah, I cleaned up. I cleaned up every year. I got all the awards. Cleaned up. All right. Could have been worse. Could have been a Sean Chen shirt. It could have been. Not Dunzo Leon. That's all right. That's all right. Let's go over this together. All right. Let's go over this together. I'm gonna go to Little Leon. Let me chill the music here. All right. Let's look at this. So this API is a little weird to get started with because there are a lot of little quirks to it. And I remember when I was first looking at it, it was kind of hard to find what specifically I was looking for. Anybody still hear the music after the music gets turned off? Am I just weird? Or do you all like still hear it in your brains after I turn it off? I still hear it. Even though it's not on, I always hear it. Not this time, only in my dreams. A little bit. I used to at Pokemon game music. Heck, I still hear Pokemon game music. I still wake up sometimes hearing that. All right, let's go ahead and look through it. So there's a lot of stuff here. And so when you're first looking through an API, this is the tricky part, right? Like looking through to find what you want. I do see that there is like a Works API, an Additions API, an ISBN API, and a Books API. So let's take a look at the ISBN and the Books one and see which one of those looks good. There seems to be a lot of stuff here. I'm just looking. I'm just trying to see what they have here. I just try to give it all like a quick glance and then come back up. And I am seeing this sample request here, which is always good if you can find a sample request. So this sample request actually looks pretty good. The interesting thing that I'm noticing here is that there is an ISBN as like a query parameter. And then there's this this JSCDM, whatever that is. I don't know what that is yet, so we have to look that up. And then there's a format JSON. So it was really interesting that on the sample request, they gave us that format JSON. And I saw some folks, I saw some folks that were having some trouble kind of like getting not just HTML, but JSON back. And that's probably what it is. Yeah, this one's hard. I'm trying to zoom in as much as I can, but yeah, so that's there. That looked interesting. Let's see what else is up here. Just kind of like walking through what you get back from the URL. When the JSCMD data about each matching book is returning includes the following. I still don't really know what that does. Okay, not really telling me. When the format JSON parameter is passed, the API returns JSON. So we know that we're going to want to use that, right? We're definitely going to want to use that, right? We're definitely going to want to use that JSON query parameter, or else we're not going to get JSON data back. Cool. Just scrolling through, looking through it. All right, here's the original URL. And if we scroll down, there is also the example one. If they give you an example, you always want to start with that. So let's go ahead and use the example that they gave us. And so you can see this is like, I mean, I've looked at this API before, so I already kind of know it, but I'm trying to show you exactly what I would do if it was a new API. Like this is the process I would go through. Like I would legitimately like read through it. I'd look at the examples. I would think through kind of like what might make sense, what might not make sense. What is curl? curl is kind of like a command, like it's a command line utility, like a command that you can run that requests information. So instead of doing like a fetch, you can also curl for information. And so a lot of times you will curl information from the terminal. So if you try to install Homebrew on a Mac, curl made that request to get the data for you. So it's kind of like fetch inside of the terminal or from the command line. Kind of the same idea. All right, so I grabbed this URL. I'm going to throw it in Postman real quick to see what I get. Let's see what happens. Click send. All right, I'm getting some data back. That looks good. It looks like to be JSON. I don't really know what this flag does. Let's go ahead and get rid of this flag and see what happens. Oh, we just get shorter information. So we get like the highlights here. We get the thumbnail, the preview. But we don't get anything. We don't get the other fun stuff. So let's go ahead and put that back. And once again, this is what I would do with any API. Like I'm just throwing it in the Postman. I'm playing around with the query parameters, right? I'm playing around with the query parameters. I'm just seeing what I'm getting back here. I'm getting an author back, which is really cool. I'm getting a title back, which is nice. And so this is an interesting one. Let's go ahead and go back to the documentation and see if there's any other ones that we can take a peek at. So I'm just going to go back up. I want to look at that ISBN API. Oh, here's the ISBN API. Let's go ahead and grab that. Is that the same one that we were just using? Let's go ahead and copy it. Like I said, I've played with this already, but I was kind of trying to show you like what I would do if I was really trying to like work through it. All right, send. Cool. Got some other data back here. Let's go ahead and do the other thing here that we haven't done. Mr. Muse, hey, thank you for the 5 gifted subs. That's huge. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. I appreciate that. I was gifted a sub, so I'm paying it forward. Hell yeah, let's go. All right. This one, you notice that we're getting kind of like JavaScript back, right? Like it's giving us like a variable back, right? It's not giving us JSON back. It's giving us, like, see like that variable there? It's like, it's giving us like actual JavaScript back. And if we remember, it said that we need to like pass this JSON thing or else it's not going to work. So let's go ahead and let's see if we can just do and format equals JSON and see if that changes what we get back. Cool. Now, see, with just the format query parameter, right? I saw some folks trying to do like .json. That looks like it works too. But it also just the and format works. That's cool. All right. So we see that like that and JSON also works, which is nice. So that gives us a little bit more data here. Cool. What URL did you all wind up using for this to work? What did you all wind up using for your URL? If you got it, so the folks that said done, what URL did you wind up using? Oh, you can't put URLs. You can do like a fake URL. If you put it in quotes, maybe that works. Don't put like the .com. Just want people to get banned. Oh. Put the ending. Don't put the openlibrary.org. Just put the path. The path. So folks are using ISBN, but not the book. So there's a different one other than the books route. Let's look for that one. Let's look. So like this ISBN one right here. That's what some folks are using. Let's take a look at that. Let's see what we get with this one. Let's go ahead and throw that in there. And let's keep our JSON query parameter. Let's see what we get. Well, that gave us a lot of HTML. Let's get rid of the and format thing. Let's send that. Ooh, getting some interesting stuff back. Let's see. What else did folks use? API books, ISBN choice. All right, let's try this. Let's try this one. We'll use crosses. See what cross got here. Cross, was your original one books? Oh, all right. We got Bilal has one too. Let's see. API / books, and then the actual key. Let's go ahead and throw that in here. Whoop. Let's take a look, see what we get. All right. Remember, we need to do that like the and format thing so we get some JSON back. Anybody get one that actually gives the book title back? Anyone get one that has a book title back? Because these really aren't giving us the book title. Anyone get one that actually gave the book title? The ISBN one did. All right, let's take a look. ISBN, let's go back to that one. Copy. All right, so that's the ISBN one. And then .json on it. .json. All right, let's do that. Cool. Oh, there we go. Now we're getting some cool stuff. Cool. So if we add .json onto it, we can get a lot of other like fun stuff in here. So let's look. We got publisher data, number of pages, covers, last modified. I like that it gives us like an author ID, which is nice. The illustrator, which is cool. And then I believe all the way at the bottom, it should be, where is it at? Revision, works, local ID, title. Great, we got title right here. Line 37, we got title. All right, so now we played around in Postman, right? And this is real. Like, this is what I would do on a regular basis. I have no idea if this API is going to work or not work, right? I play around with it in Postman. I dig. I add query parameters. I remove query parameters. I read more of the documentation. I plug stuff in, right? The and JSCMD at data gives us the same thing. Let's try that. So if we get rid of the .json and we add that, that would work too. Let's see. Let's try it. I'm going to copy it. Let me throw it on here. So this is another query parameter we can add. Let's see. We got to do JSON. Can we do and JSON? Or do we still have to do the .json on it? Ugh, that's disgusting. Can we do that? Nope. We'll stick with the .json for now. We know that that works. All right, that works. How do you know it's .json versus format equals JSON? I didn't. I tried it. It's in the documentation. Both of them were in the documentation, right? If we look here, like they give us this URL here with .json attached to it, all right? Yeah, that's the only reason I would have known to test it. I would have maybe looked down here and see if there was anything where they use something else. It looks like there's some other things that we can do. But yeah, so they gave us this one, so I would have tried that and see what I got with it. And yeah, like I said, yeah, and like Tony said, not easy to find. This was not easy to find. Like, this was us like playing around with it, trying different things, all the way until we got the data we want. Because it's up to them. Whoever sets up the API gets the control how the data, like what it's listening for and what data it sends back, right? So it has nothing to do with you, right? It's like you're following the documentation, it works or it doesn't work, right? And so it's up to them for how they organize their documentation, and it's up to them how their server set up so that when you make a request, you get that specific data back, right? Is API documentation typically written like a strange choose your own adventure book, or is this one particularly bad? This is actually, believe it or not, a good API documentation. Like in like the realm of all documentation, this one's not bad. Let that sink in for a second. Let that one sink in for a second. This is not bad. Trust me, I've had to use APIs that were like, fuck you. It was like the only thing they gave you, but I had to make it work, right? So like this is maybe a little disorganized, but they, at least if you read through it, they gave you the stuff that you wanted, right? Like if I would have eventually stumbled upon this, right? I would have stumbled upon this URL. I would have tried it in Postman, right? I would have tried it in Postman. I won't say the worst, but I will tell you one that was the most aggravating. The most aggravating was Instagram's API. And because it used to be so open, you used to be able to get whatever you wanted. And I built like a 4 lecture series on top of this API. And then they turned everything off, right? They got rid of everything. So you used to have all this cool stuff you could do. The class was lit. I really enjoyed teaching it. And then like I came in the class one day. I had tested it the night before. And then the day during class, everything was turned off. Like no warning, no anything. It just didn't work anymore. Well, at least the route that I wanted. And so while it lasted, I remember I was teaching. And while I was teaching at General Assembly, we were doing it, and it was grabbing all of the photos in a geofence near our classroom. And we were running it, and we were seeing everyone's photos that were near the classroom. And then we started seeing all these photos from Vanilla Ice. Vanilla Ice was in Boston near my classroom and posting to Instagram, and we were getting all of their photos. So that's kind of like the high and low of the same API. So it was good while it lasted, but that's probably the most frustrating one, because it was so cool to see like everyone's photos and to see like this celebrity like posting, and they were coming up while we were using the API. All right, we got this one. Let's go ahead. We got about 15 minutes until class is over. We will do a lovely raid, and then we are back on Friday. Remember, not Thursday, Friday. Please stay to the end of the class. I'm going to explain the break work and what you have to get done. But let's get this working. I'm going to go ahead and open up my API template. So let me go ahead and close this and this. I'm going to open up the template. And all of this is working. I'm just going to get rid of the stuff that's in here. This was the NASA stuff that's in here right now. And I'm going to throw this URL in here. I'm just going to go ahead and copy that. Throw it in here. Boop. And instead of hard coding the ISBN here, we're going to throw in our query parameter. Sorry, not our query parameter, our template literal. And inside this template literal, we're going to put choice, right? Same thing we've been using. Same thing from last API. Same thing as this API. What we are doing is we are grabbing a value out of the input, plugging it into this URL, and then getting some data back from the API. So let's go ahead. Let's save this. Let's grab this ISBN. I'm going to copy it. And let's just see if we can get some data coming back. So I'm going to open this in my browser. Cool. Oh, I got to change this from a date to a text input. Cool. It's a text input. Let's refresh. Let's open up the inspector to make sure we're getting some stuff back. Let's paste in the ISBN. Cool. There we go. We're getting some data back from this API. Lots of good stuff in here. But the thing we care about, right there, the title. That's what we want. So let's go ahead and console log the title. So we're going to go back here. And instead of just console logging all the data, we're going to do data.title. Let's go ahead and save. Let's come back here and refresh. Let's paste it in there. Click the button. And there we go. We're getting the title. Boom. All right. So since we want this to be like a real book tracker, like you have, like, let's call it a physical book tracker. So you got to have the physical book in your hand, and you can always look up the ISBN on the back. So this is a book I'm going to be reading soon, Designing Data-Intensive Applications. I've been wanting to get into this one for a hot minute. Let's go ahead and try plugging in this ISBN to see if this works. So I'm going to go up here. I'm going to plug in this one. It is 978-1-449-37-3320. All right, let's see if this works. All right, there we go. We got designing data-intensive applications back. So we know that it works. Going to work. I'm going to guess it's 498 pages. It is 590 with the index. 546 without it. Yeah, 545 without it. Yeah, it's a thick boy. Thick boy. But it'll be fun. Cool. So now we know it's working. The ISBN's working. We're getting stuff back. All right. How can we start putting these books that we've read into local storage? What could I do? What could I do to put these into local storage? Yeah, we can do set item. So let's go ahead and try that. Let's go ahead and do that. So let's go ahead and set up our local storage. Now remember, we saw something last time. What's the error that we ran last time when trying to set up our local storage? What's the thing that we ran into? What was the error that we ran into, chat, last time when we were trying to set up our local storage? Anybody remember that the error we ran into when we were trying to set up our local storage last time? Yeah, it kept resetting. How did we stop it from resetting? What was the code that we used for it to stop resetting? To make it stop resetting? We just wanted to check to see if there was local storage. Yeah, it was a conditional. Right? It was a conditional. We need to check to see if it exists first. Yeah. So let's go ahead and check. Let's go ahead and check. Let's go ahead and put a conditional in here. Cool. So we're going to check for something. And if not, we're going to do local storage. All right, we're going to do local storage. And we're going to do dot set item. And in that set item, we are going to do books. And what are we going to set it equal to? What should we set books equal to? What should we set books equal to? Should it just be what structure can we use here? Can we use any structure here? Can we use an array? Let's try it. Let's try putting an array in here. That'd be fun if we could do an array, right? All right, there we go. We got it. We're going to try and set array, and we're going to check first. We're going to say, all right. We're going to say local storage, right? We're going to do local storage. And we're going to get item. Cool. We're going to get item books, right? And so remember the trick from last time that we did? We said bang, local storage, get item books. So basically, if this doesn't exist, right? If this doesn't exist, go ahead and create it. Let's see if it works. see if it works. All right. So let me go ahead and I'm going to open this tab over here. I'm going to go to sources. Hold on, let me make this a little bit smaller. 1 second, just doing something off screen here. All right, there we go. Just want to make sure there's nothing funky in there before I put it on on stream. All right, so if we look right now, I went to, let me make this bigger for everyone to see. I went to application, right? I went to application. I went to application. I looked in my local storage, and look what's still in my local storage from all those classes ago, right? Bot score is still in there. I've restarted Chrome. I've closed this multiple times. Doesn't matter. Bot score is still chilling out there, right? So let's go ahead and refresh this page. And as soon as I refresh, look what we get. We get books. Right? We get books. Books is in there. All right, we get books in there. And we get books in there. Now, did we notice anything weird here? Did we notice anything weird here? Did we notice anything weird here? There's no value. No value. Why is there no value? It's empty. Ah, it's empty. What did you notice about... Anybody notice anything about local storage at all? Does it accept arrays? Let's try putting something in the array. Does it accept arrays though? It might not accept arrays. Let's see. Let's see. Let's go back and try it. Let's try putting something in there. Let's try putting in Bob. Let's try it again. We're gonna have to clear local storage first though. So let's go ahead and do local storage.clear. Cool. Let's try that. Let's refresh. Should clear local storage, and now we're seeing Bob in there. That worked. All right, so there's a value in there. Now we can see it. Let's try multiple values in there. Let's make sure this all works. Let's go ahead and try. Cool. Let's save this. Let's go back and try again. Let's refresh. All right, so it seems to be working. Seems to be going in there. Now you're going to run into this idea that maybe only strings should be going into local storage. So we're going to have to work around this. It should be only strings, but we're seeing some weird stuff in there. Mastermind with the raid of 99. Hey, thank you so much for the raid. Hope your stream went well. Congrats on partner. That's huge. Congrats. Welcome, Raiders. Hope you're doing well. Hope your stream went well. What were y'all learning tonight? What were y'all learning? We're finishing up some fun stuff with local storage and storing stuff into local storage and trying to see if we can use arrays in local storage, or do we got to use these? Can we only use strings? What is it? So we're gonna take a peek at it. So what we're building right now is a book tracker where you can type in the ISBN of your books, have them stored into local storage, and kind of use them over and over again. I hope you had a great stream. Welcome. Dinger Code, hey, thank you for the 50 bits. Welcome to the party. We got some new emotes, folks. We got the Bob. We got the nuns. I see people throwing them up there. I love the mix with the mastermind emotes as well. Welcome, everybody. Hope you're having a good stream or had a good stream. All right, let's go ahead and finish this up. We're going to keep an eye on this because technically we should only have strings going into local storage, but for some reason this is working. But that might cause us some errors down the line. Let's keep this idea going. Well, let's see if we can get the values out of storage though. Let's see what happens when we get a value out. So let's go ahead and do. Let's just go ahead and console log. Let's go ahead and console log. Let's do kind of our console log. And let's go ahead and throw in our local storage. And we're going to do our get item. And we're just going to get item books and see what happens. Let's just see what happens here. Let's go ahead and refresh. And let's look at our console. All right, so we're getting the values out. But notice what we're getting out, chat. Chat, what did we just get out of the local storage.get item? What did we get? Yeah, it's definitely a string. So even though we tried putting an array in, we're not really dealing with an array. We're dealing with a string, right? And so this will cause us some trouble down the line, right? This is going to cause us some trouble down the line. We're going to have to figure out, all right, well, if we can't use an array, what can we use so we can kind of keep track of all this stuff? And so what we might want to do is maybe have like an array on our end, but whenever it comes time to store stuff into, right, whenever it comes time to store stuff into local storage, we're putting a string. And then the cool thing is we can always take that string out, right? We can always take that string out. So let's keep that in mind. If when we put stuff into our local storage, we have some sort of delimiter, like a comma, then we can always use the methods that we learned about, right? We can always do something like a split that will split those words up based on the comma, and then that way we can figure out all the different values that are being stored into local storage. Cool. So let's keep that in mind. Let's look at this. Let's keep going. So the big thing here is that the one thing I really wanted you to see tonight is that this local storage really, really doesn't work well with just arrays. And so we're going to have to keep that in mind as we go through. So let's just go ahead and do set item books. And for now, we can keep that first book in there. But the idea would be let's get rid of this clear. Let's take this conditional and let's put that inside of our fetch. Let's do it down here. And we're going to put it all the way inside of our fetch. Cool. I'm going to give myself some room here. There we go. So instead of doing it from the jump, let me go ahead and I want to clear my local storage real quick though. So I'm going to do local storage dot clear. We're going to run this just so we can clear that local storage. All right, refresh. If we go ahead and we look at application, we go ahead and we look at our local storage, we see that there's nothing in there. Nothing in there. All right, cool. So now let's go ahead and get that choice back. So we're going to run this. Let's get rid of the clear. We're going to run this code. And the goal is to put in an ISBN that we know works, like the ones we tested already, right? To be tested, that we tested already. We're going to pass that ISBN to the input. We're going to plug that ISBN into the URL. And then the normal fetch is going to happen. We're going to get that data back from the book API. And then all we're going to do is we're going to say, hey, is there already something in local storage called books? If not, create a book, right? Create a book. And all we're going to do is we're going to use our data. So we're going to use our data dot title. Cool. So all we're going to do is we're going to, if there's not already something in storage, right, called books, we're going to put something into local storage called books with the book title that we came up with. Okay. So let's go ahead and run this and see what happens. And then we'll break it down and see what's going on. All right, let's go ahead and save this. Let's go ahead and run it. And let's go ahead and throw in the ISBN that we know works. Let's go ahead and grab this one from right here, copy it. Let's paste it in. Boom. And there we go. So we saw it worked. When we clicked on it, we saw that now in local storage is books, and it has the title of Fantastic Mr. Fox. So let's run back how this works. Let's run back and make sure we understand kind of what this code happened and what we're actually doing here. It's just kind of combining the two things that we've already seen. We're combining the fetch and we're combining the local storage. Cool. Let's go ahead and check. So we clicked our button, which is our event listener. We got the ISBN out of the input, right? We got the ISBN out of your input. We put that ISBN into the URL that we're going to make the fetch from, right? That we got the fetch from. Then we go ahead and we made our fetch, right? We went ahead and we made our fetch. We got that data back from the API. And the first check that we made is we said, hey, was there something in local storage called books? Because if there's not, let's go ahead and put something into local storage called books and set the title to, or like put the value that's for books to data.title. So it's whatever we got back. In this case, it was Fantastic Mr. Fox. That gets stored in local storage underneath books as the value. Okay. So now it's in local storage. Exactly, Jen. It's in local storage, right? It's in local storage. And now all we have to do is get the values out of local storage and put them into the DOM. All right. Let's go ahead and take a look. So what's the last thing we do? Just going to take this out of local storage and put it into the DOM. So let's go ahead and target our DOM. Let's see, what do we got anything in here that we can put it into? Let's put it into the H2. So let's go ahead and do document.query selector, and we're going to say H2. And we're just going to put inner text equals, and all we're going to do is say local storage dot get item books. Cool. So what should happen is we should, in our H2, put whatever is stored in books into the H2. So let's go ahead and save it, and we'll wrap up soon. We'll wrap up in just a few seconds. Let's go ahead and save it. Let's go ahead and refresh. Let's type in the ISBN that we know. Let's get Pokemon. And you can see down here, we get Fantastic Mr. Fox showing up in the DOM, right? You have Fantastic Mr. Fox put into the DOM, okay? Hey, Leon, I have a weird question. If I'm saving my files to OneDrive, will my local storage not work? I was having issues with that last class and last. I'm not sure. They should be going to wherever your local storage should be going to, like wherever your applications folder is. So as long as your applications folder is still like somewhere physically on your device, it might still work. But if you're doing something where you have like none of your files being stored locally, then yeah, this might throw this off. Yeah. Cool. Questions while we're here. Questions while we're here. We can't add another book to local storage. Well, we can. It's just always going to have to be a string. It's always going to have to be a string. Right? It's always going to have to be a string. So what we can do is, since we already know, right? Since we already know that we want to store it into local storage, what we can do is we can say, all right, well, if there was no local storage, create it and add it. If there was, what can we do? We can do local storage dot set item books, right? And inside of here, we're going to do this line again. We're going to do this line again, right? Plus data dot title. So we're going to say let books equal whatever is currently in storage plus the new title, and then that goes into local storage. So what we're doing here is we can go ahead and start putting more and more titles into local storage. Now this is where it gets a little tricky. There's a couple different ways we could do it. We can go ahead and use something called stringify, which will enable this to work. But right now we can just concatenate our strings. So let's just concatenate it like regular. And then we'll start doing the fancy things with comma. We don't have, like, it'll just be slammed together right now. So eventually we're going to want to do with the comma. So let's walk through this very tricky thing here that's happening. All right. So we got a response back from the API. We said, hey, if there's nothing inside of local storage called books, go ahead and create that spot in storage, right? Go ahead and create that spot in storage and grab the title of the first book you just got back. So this is like, if this is the very first time, right? Like if this is the very first time you've ever run this and there's no books in local storage, this is going to set up the space in local storage called books and put the title of the first book into storage. Cool. But if this isn't the first time that this is running, we're going to get whatever is already in there, right? We're going to get whatever is already in there and add the new book that we just got back from the fetch and store both of these into local storage, right? We're going to put both of them into local storage. And so the idea is that if we run this enough, right? If we run this enough, eventually we're just going to keep concatenating every new book, right? We're going to keep concatenating every new book, okay? And so let's go ahead and put the comma in here just because we're in here. And I'm going to do like the really old school way just so that we can see it. There we go. That's the really old school way. We're taking whatever is already in local storage and sandwiching it with the new thing that we just got back. All right. So let's go ahead and see what happens. Let's see if we get any errors here. All right, let's refresh. Let me open up the inspector. Let me go to application. And so we can already see Fantastic Mr. Fox is in there. Let's go ahead and paste in that ISBN again. We're going to grab this one. The one that we already know works. The one that's already Fantastic Mr. Fox. So if this works, we should see Fantastic Mr. Fox, comma, Fantastic Mr. Fox. That's what we should see. Let's see. Let's see if it works. There we go. So the idea here is we're just going to keep concatenating every single book title into this string. all right, into this string. So let's go ahead and try another ISBN that we've already tried tonight. Like I said, we're going to get through this idea and then we'll finish up. Give me like 2 more minutes and then we'll wrap up for this evening. So I have this ISBN here. I'm going to do 9781449373320. All right. Let's go ahead and click Get Pokemon on this one. And there you go. So now we can see Fantastic Mr. Fox, Fantastic Mr. Fox, and designing, and it's going to get bigger and bigger, right? So the idea here is I am concatenating all of these as one string into local storage. And then what I could do is I could parse out this string to get the individual books should I ever want them, right? I could just look at the commas and split the string based on those commas. The problem with commas, though, is that there might be some books that have a comma in the title, and so then this wouldn't work, right? So we're going to want either some other special character or something else unique, right? Or something else unique that would enable us to start pulling out individual items, right? All right. Pulling out individual items from this string. And so there's something special. There's something special when it comes to working with this called JSON stringify and JSON parse. The essence is that it's just a string, and we're just going to be putting a string in and parsing a string out into local storage, right? So the idea is that, yeah, right now we're seeing that the string can work, but on Friday, what we'll walk through together is how we can actually chunk apart this string so we can get the individual books and start building an actual book checker. But the idea here, just to wrap up and then we'll do our lovely raid. The idea here is that we are getting books back from the open library. We are checking to see if there is a spot in local storage called books. If there is not, that's what the bang means not. We go ahead and we create that spot in local storage. And if there already was a spot in local storage for books, we just go ahead and add the next book we got back, right? And then store that into local storage. So basically we're just concatenating strings over and over and over again, right? And so the idea here is that this is kind of like the first way, like the first pass, just to see the idea. But there are some more realistic ways that we're going to put stuff into local storage and get stuff out. But since we all dealt with strings before, we all dealt with concatenation before, I wanted to start with that. Cool. Let's wrap up with homework, and then we'll be back on Friday. On Friday, we'll be doing our hour-long kind of resume class, and I'll put about a half an hour before the resume stuff to work through the book tracker. What I would love for you to do for homework, I want you to play with this. You're going to have the code that I've put together. I want you to try getting stuff into local storage, getting stuff out of local storage. Look up, how do I put stuff into local storage? How do I get stuff out of local storage? How can I use this JSON stringify, this JSON parse? I want you to play with this. So we won't have class on Thursday, so you have some time. I want you to play with this code on Thursday, right? I want you to really push yourself, to like dig deep and try and see if you can get some of this stuff going. Ask questions, right? Ask questions. I'll be on Discord on Thursday. I'm going to pick up the pupper. When we come back, I'll be on Discord to see some of your questions, right? And then on Friday, we'll come back and we're going to review this together. So I wanted to get that idea into your head. I wanted you to play with it. This is a difficult one. This is the first time we've actually really played with local storage. That's okay. We'll come back on Friday and get it all going together. All right. Now, homework for the break. So Friday is our class, right? Friday is our resume class. We'll be going over this book checker again together. And then we have Saturday office hours. Saturday is going to be all about Git, right? All about Git. So all the weird stuff you're going to need to know about it. We're going to go deeper into all the little nits and bolts and things that you need to know to start using Git and GitHub effectively, not only for yourself, but with your team. I'm going to show you how to get it set up on different systems. So if you're having trouble with Git, you're having trouble with homework, come back on Saturday. We'll be going through all of that. And then we are taking a break for that week. During this week is your chance to get a little bit of rest. It is your chance to get some catch-up time. I would want you, if you're able, to work through this entire Intro to JavaScript course. It's going to be a lot of review, and it's going to be quite a few new topics as well. It's completely free. Take your leisure through that course. It's going to help you reinforce concepts. It's very handheld. It's going to enable you to start kind of getting some hands-on keyboard practice. And then I'm going to share a professional checklist up either tonight or tomorrow. And it's going to have all these things that I want you to prep over the break, right? All the things that I want you to prep over the break. Your portfolio, your LinkedIn, like all these links that you got to start getting ready and together. That's what we're going to do. I'm going to share that professional checklist. So over break, yes, no class. No new material. It's your chance to catch up, right? It's your chance to take a little bit of a breather, but there's still some work I want you to get done. There's some things I want you to do. Please work through those, right? Right? And I will see you all on Friday. I will see you all on Saturday. Then we're taking that week to catch up. And then we will be back in full force, right? In full force to move into the back end. So don't run away. Let's go ahead and do a raid. We're going to do a raid like we always do. Send some love, some positivity, some follows. And I'll see you all over there. But please, take this upcoming week to catch up. Take this upcoming week to get a little bit of rest, but to get caught up. If you have questions, you need help, I will be on Discord all next week. So I'm not going anywhere. I want to help you get caught up. Let's go ahead and do a raid. Let's see. All right. So we're going to go ahead and do the raid here. Setting it up. See you all over there. Alrighty. Have a good night, everyone. See you on Friday, and I'll see you at the raid. We're raiding in 3, 2, 1. See you over there. Oh, I didn't my stream. I'm just fixing my hair. I'm just making myself look pretty. If you're on YouTube, shout out to you following along on YouTube.